What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Monday to you all. Hopefully, you all had a fantastic weekend, a great Father's Day weekend yesterday, and you're ready to hit up a brand new work week here, whether you are listening on the radio dials, got a couple of those, 105.1 FM and 790 AM, or streaming us up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got the app. You can download that, take it on the go, the Wisco Sports App. Your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa, Amazon Alexa devices, Google devices, and of course the video stream that is up and rolling right now on YouTube, where we've already got listeners chiming in on the Section 105 chat room over there. Good morning, peeps there too. And of course, don't forget the Shoe Doctors bullpen line. 715-830-1912. You can give us a shout on there or hit us up with a text. Where Rando from Chippewa Falls already texted in saying, Happy Father's Day. I hope you had an outstanding weekend. So big thanks for making us a part of your start if you are already up and at it. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Well, we're going to talk a little Brewers, as the Brewers did drop their series against the Braves this past weekend. Just winning one game, their lone win coming yesterday, with Robert Gasser again putting together a couple of solid starts, maybe looking like the Robert Gasser that we saw from a couple of years ago in 2024 before he had his Tommy John surgery. But he picked up his first win of the season, giving up just 2 earned runs, striking out 7 batters in 6 innings of work. Chad Patrick getting the save, his 4th save of the season, going 3 innings. So Brewers sitting there at 46 and 29 on the season, and they're set to begin a series against the Reds, divisional opponent. So we're going to preview that game, which sounds like we're going to also see the return of Brandon Woodruff getting the start for the Brewers tonight. So we'll recap the weekend series where we saw Mizorowski, we saw Harrison pitching on Friday and Saturday respectfully, and then of course Robert Gasser yesterday, and then we'll take a look ahead to Brandon Woodruff's start. So plenty of Brewers talk coming your way here this morning. Speaking of baseball, should also note it was a good weekend for the Eau Claire Express too, picking up a 2-game sweep over the Wilmer Stingers. They're going to be hitting the road and taking on Duluth tonight, but it is Monday, which means we will catch up with our friends from the Eau Claire Express at 9 o'clock, shortly after 9 o'clock this morning, as we preview the upcoming week for the Express. They are going to be back at home tomorrow against Duluth, and then Waterloo. They're going to be hitting the road against Waterloo on Wednesday and Thursday, and then we've got lacrosse coming, another series against lacrosse, a home and away for the Express. Actually, yeah, home and a couple, back and forth. Holy moly! So home against lacrosse, away against lacrosse, home against lacrosse, and then back away against lacrosse. So, but we'll chat all things Express with our good peeps over there just shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. It is the week. Due deadlines, in fact, spur action. We'll find out whether Giannis, maybe we'll find out or not, whether Giannis will be a Milwaukee Buck by tomorrow's soft deadline that Jimmy Haslam, one of the co-owners of the Milwaukee Bucks, put out there for the Bucks to trade Giannis. We'll go over the latest rumors, reports, rumblings, whatever the heck you want to call them, that's out there on social media. But we'll go through the latest surrounding the Giannis talk. Is it getting closer to a decision? Is it getting closer to him going to the Heat or the Celtics? What are the latest ones out there? We'll go through it all. And you can give us your thoughts, too, on whether you think we'll find out if Giannis is going to get traded by tomorrow or not. Where are you at on the Giannis-o-meter from a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being you would bet your 401k or G-Man's 401k that he's going to be gone by tomorrow, or maybe 0 where you're like guaranteed he's still going to be on the team and maybe for the upcoming season. So we'll get you updated on the latest rumors and rumblings that are currently out there surrounding one Giannis Antetokounmpo It is a Monday, which also means it is a best and worst, a VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. So we'll hit us up with what you think is the best and worst from the weekend. Doesn't make anything from the sports world. Maybe your kiddos. I know there was a lot of little league and softball tournaments around the area, so maybe that was the best of the weekend on a Father's Day weekend. But what was also the worst? You can share it with the rest of the class. All right, we'll do our usual Monday morning GPT. We'll ask. We still got to come up with a better name and a good name for our AI Chat GPT coach Monday morning quarterback over there. So, but we'll throw. I've already got the question thrown in there, and we'll kind of tease you on that one a little bit here, and we'll probably get to that coming up a little bit later on. We'll continue our 250 countdown with America turning 250 years old. We've got 15 more sports moments in the last 250 years to highlight in our countdown as we get closer and closer and closer to July 4th. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning, and wherever else the conversation takes us, as you guys and gals already know. Sometimes we get on a little bit of a sidetrack and tangent, but that's okay too. So, but good morning to Barb on the video stream as well. Let's get things rocking and rolling here this morning, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then we've got the leadoff coming up. We're going to open up things, talking some Milwaukee Brewers, recapping the series loss to the Atlanta Braves, and then looking ahead to the upcoming series against the Reds. We'll just take a look at tonight's game. But we got Brandon Woodruff. From all accounts, Brandon Woodruff is going to get the start tonight for the Brewers. So let's talk some baseball. Plus, we're going to introduce a new guest that you're going to be hearing on Monday mornings here for a little bit too. So that's going to be coming up right after our first break. We'll be right back to kick things off with the leadoff after these quick words. Summer is the season for golf, softball, pickleball, running, and staying active. But aches and pains, they can quickly slow you down. That's where Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine comes on in. Their experienced team helps weekend warriors and athletes of all ages get back to doing what they love with expert care and treatment options designed to keep you moving. Play more, hurt less. That's Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. You can get started today by checking out their website at cvosm.com. That's cvosm.com. All right, before we get to a little Brewers chat here this morning, we got another voice that's going to be joining us here for a couple hours each Monday morning. Well, why don't you introduce yourself, Justin? How you doing? Welcome
I'm doing
aboard,
good. Doing good.
So, yeah, give us a little intro. Tell the world who's this new voice that they're hearing right now on the airwaves.
Yeah, I'm new here. I graduated a couple years ago from UW-Milwaukee, journalism and communications major. Born and raised in Wisconsin my entire life, so huge sports fan, especially Brewers, Packers, Bucks, all that. So I'm excited to be here, excited to talk a little bit of sports, and yeah, let's get right to it, I guess.
So you are a Memorial graduate, correct?
Yes,
so
I am.
are an Eau Claire.
Yes.
Eau Claire person. So, well, and then we got once in a while, or I should say once in a while, we do usually do it. New people, we got to do a little lightning round question first.
Yeah,
we really got to get to know you first. So
sounds good.
All right, favorite food?
Oh, probably bratwurst.
Oh, see, now you're just tugging at the heartstrings of everybody. You're going, so sauerkraut, yes or no?
No.
Ooh, okay.
I am a ketchup only person.
Uh-oh. That's a debate now, too. Do you put ketchup on a brat?
I do.
Okay.
I do, 100%.
All right. Do you put a mustard or no? Just ketchup?
No, just
okay.
ketchup. Just ketchup.
All right. How about favorite, let's go favorite movie.
Favorite movie? Probably Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, great one.
Last thing that you binge watched, like on Netflix, Hulu, or whatever streaming devices are out there?
That would be The Boys off Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Man, you got some good answers. Do you have a favorite book? I know this one's usually tough for a lot of people.
Not exactly. Not at the moment, no. I'm much more of a visual person. I'm not a huge book reader.
Yeah.
So.
Nope, that makes sense. How about favorite team, if you had to pick one?
Brewers.
Easy.
Easy.
All right, perfect. Favorite athlete growing up?
Favorite athlete growing up, that would have to be Ryan Braun.
Nice.
Yep. Rogers is up there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Randall Cobb. I love that connection, but Braun was my biggest intro to sports.
Nice. I like that one. Let's go. What's your favorite go-to place here in Eau Claire? Like get to eat or to hang out, to grab coffee, whatever the case may be.
Oh, that's a tough one. Go-to place, I would say it sucks because it's closed for renovations right now, but Milwaukee Burger.
Solid choice.
Food, drinks, all of it is great there. Atmosphere. So.
I saw some of the, so our friend Alex from Wax was showing me some of the pictures from the inside. They're going to have a cool brewer thing.
I am very excited. I know somebody who works there. They were saying they were hoping to be open last Friday, and I was a little bit bummed because they were not, evidently, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Well, welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much.
And hey, if anybody has questions for Justin and such, so Justin's going to be here from about 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every Monday morning for us, which also means he's going to help out too. So if you want to give us a shout, because as you all know, sometimes I miss your phone calls because we've got 5 computer screens in here that one I can't see on the other side because that's Justin's over there, but 4 in front of me, so sometimes I can't see the phone line. So Justin's going to help out with that too. So, or you can always do the shoot us a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Well, let's open up things on the leadoff, talking some Brewers. Let's talk some Brewers here. As one of our friends on the video stream says, sad about ketchup, hot take, that's a child's condiment. So you see, I knew that was going to be Matt's having some good fun. He sent the winky face over there too. So, but let's get things going here and talk a little Brew Crew here. As the Brewers falling to the Braves this past weekend, we had Jacob Mizorowski getting the start on Friday, but the Brewers falling in that contest. Okay, sometimes the computer freezes up too. So, but that game, 3-2 loss. Mizorowski does get charged with the loss, but it was a quality start from Mizorowski, I would say. 6 innings, giving up just 2 earned runs, striking out 7. Brewers offense couldn't really get it going there, scoring just 1 run in the top of the 3rd and 1 run in the 9th to inch a little bit closer. They did out-hit the Brewers, out-hit the Braves, 11 hits to 7, just not able to get those runs across the board to give Mizorowski his 9th win of the season. Bryce Terang, a couple hits, and, he was the man that got all the RBIs for the Brewers in that game, but after that, Vaughn collected a couple hits. You had Mitchell collecting a couple of hits, just not able to manufacture any of those runs. And it was kind of the same thing a little bit in Saturday's game with Kyle Harrison on the mound. Brewers falling 4-3. They did have the lead going into the bottom of the 9th, but the Braves able to pick up the win with a couple of runs in the bottom of the 9th. Harrison going 6 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks for him, no walks. Aaron Ashby, though, giving up a couple of earned runs with the home run. And the Braves able to secure the series win with that win on Saturday. But Brewers bounced back yesterday and picked up the 9-4 victory. It helps when you put up 8 runs in the 2nd inning to give Robert Gasser some nice breathing room right away. But, talking about him now, back-to-back performances from him, back-to-back solid outings from him. Even back on the 16th, he went 5 2/3 against the Guardians, had the no decision, but he only gave up 2 hits and struck out 5, and then he picked up his first win of the season, going 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts to help the Brewers avoid being swept and picking up a win, but also to just probably from a confidence standpoint, I would have to imagine, just with Robert Gasser especially, to put together a couple of starts now, back-to-back starts, where he looked like the guy from 2024 before he had the Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I think it's just like you said, the confidence thing. He looks a lot better on the mound, a lot more comfortable. The 8 runs definitely helped yesterday, but I remember I watched him on Memorial Day against the Cubs 2 years ago, where he had a fantastic start, and I was thinking he could be the next maybe potential ace, and then, of course, the Tommy John surgery. But these last 2 starts, I think, have meant a lot for him, and I think will hopefully get him a stable spot in the rotation going forward. It's amazing because the Brewers have had a problem finding, I feel like, that third piece in the rotation. Woodruff being out doesn't help, but you have Mizorowski, certified all-star, Cy Young favorite at this point. Kyle Harrison, who, aside from 1 bad start in Vegas, but no pitcher seemed to do well there, has looked amazing. But Drouin has had ups and downs. Sproat has had more downs than ups. So I am excited to hopefully maybe have a third piece of that 1-2 punch that they have right now. It'd be nice to have that third person to come through when you need it.
Right. And Logan Henderson still on the injured list at this point too. So you mentioned Brandon Woodruff. So let's kind of move on to Woodruff here, because nothing officially official yet from the Brewers, but all signs indicate that Brandon Woodruff is going to make the start for the Crew tonight to open up a series with the Reds. Not the easiest ballpark for a pitcher to go back and get a start for the first time here in a while. But it'll be interesting to see where Brandon Woodruff's fastball is at, because the last we saw him, that was kind of the big indicator that something was wrong with him, because he was only getting in the 80s and such.
82 to 85 he was topping out at.
Yeah, like low to mid 80s. So, and now it's been a hot minute, but I think they've been extra cautious with him too, because, well, one, they just keep winning ball games, so it forces you to be cautious with that. But to get Woodruff back in it in this rotation, I think we're still at the point of we're just kind of I don't know, maybe I am, maybe I'm the only one. I'm holding my breath every time he goes out there. Whether it's this issue or the shoulder injury from a couple of years ago, it's like he's a very fragile but important piece to this rotation, and that's kind of how I'm approaching this. I'm like, just holding your breath every time he's out there.
Well, that's what it's been the last 2 years or so. It's when is he going to be able to take the mound? Is he going to stay healthy? And then they extended him the qualifying offer, which was the right move, but he accepts that, so you're paying him upwards of $20 million. You need him to be able to go out there and perform. You can't just have him sitting on the bench. So
right.
I'm excited, but it's going to be like you. I'm probably going to be holding my breath when he goes out there every time he every time he throws, pretty much.
And it's kind of like, what should the expectation be for Brandon Woodruff now? Like, do we have to? Yes, he's making a lot of money. He's making $20-some million to pitch this year. But if we take that away, what should the expectation be for Brandon Woodruff? Is it just, setting the bar low? Can we get 5 innings out of him in each start and maybe just a couple of runs in here? Is it just, that providing that veteran presence? Because I think it's clearly evident he is a team leader, especially when it comes to this very young pitching group, to have a Brandon Woodruff in there. And I know Christian Yelich last year, with the high compliment saying, if we're in a playoff game, that's the guy I want out there. And I think they're hoping, as a fan base, for us, we're hoping if the Brewers do make the postseason, Woodruff is going to be available, because I think just having that veteran presence, a guy who has pitched in a lot of playoff games or big games, to throw him in that rotation is going to be, such a huge bonus here. But, what should that expectation be for Woodruff? Because I feel like a lot of fans are going to still have high expectations because he is getting $20-some million, and I get that, and I understand that. But at the same time, when it comes to a health standpoint, do we just okay, if we could get 5-6 innings out of him and just maybe a couple of earned runs, should we set that bar low, as maybe at least in the beginning of his return?
I think in the beginning, yeah, it needs to be low. I would like for him to, like you said, at least get 5-6 innings, maybe just eat some innings, because this bullpen I know is getting taxed. So it'd be nice for him to just go out there. I mean, I'm okay with him giving up some runs if we can just get some production out of him.
Right.
That's the main thing. Make sure he's healthy. Get him to throw, hopefully at least 5 innings. But yeah, I mean, I'd be okay setting the bar a little bit lower. I mean, just want production out of him pretty much, even if it's towards average. But
yeah.
I mean, 5 innings, I would be happy with that, even if he gave up 2 runs.
And I know the sexy topic or the hot topic that every Brewers fan wants to talk about is trade deadline and Skubal and adding him to a rotation that has Mizorowski and Harrison. But I'd be curious if when Woodruff comes back and looking at his next few starts, what if he goes out there and he kind of looks like vintage Woodruff? Should that die down some of the talk about a need of adding another starter? I mean, Logan Henderson eventually is going to be back. We just saw Robert Gasser again put together a couple of solid starts in there too. So, I'm kind of curious to see, with Woodruff now making hopefully a few starts before that trade deadline, does that eliminate the conversation or the need, depending on how you feel about it, for the Brewers to go out there and get another starting pitcher?
I don't think it's going to completely eliminate the talk about it, because everybody's going to talk about Skubal. My friends have been talking about Skubal, and everybody's going to want him, which I understand. But if he has 2 vintage Woodruff starts, I think that the need definitely goes down on it. And I might get some flack for this, but I honestly would rather see the Brewers try to improve 1 or 2 bats rather than get Skubal. When you look at last year, the playoffs against the Dodgers and against the Braves, these were all, except for the win, the losses were very close, and the losses against the Dodgers, 1 or 2 bats wins you at least a couple of those games. So yes, having Skubal, like Miz Harrison Skubal, would be a nasty, insane 1-2-3 punch, but I don't think it's really needed, especially like you said, Henderson coming back, Woodruff could look like himself, Gasser getting this confidence. I would much rather see the Brewers go out and try to add a good, solid 1 or 2 bats to really bolster the lineup and make sure that every spot in the order is a threat, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big topic, not only recently, but I mean, in the offseason, we look at that Dodgers series in the postseason, and a lot of people will look at that as the main example why this team needs more offensive help, maybe a power bat within the middle of the lineup. And then you look at the Braves series this past week in the first 2 games, close games. I mean, that first game they out-hit them, but not a lot of run production to get in there.
Well, that's the problem when you don't hit many home runs. I mean, I am a big lover of small ball, so I'm okay when the Brewers do it that way. But when you have 11 hits and you still lose because you cannot hit a home run, that's something needs to change at some point. Whether it's Mitchell stepping up and making contact a little bit more, because when he makes contact, the ball flies off the bat.
Right.
Or if it's adding somebody else to really help with that.
Yeah. Let's talk some more Brewers. Got plenty more. In fact, I want to talk a little bit more about Cooper Pratt and what we've seen from an offensive standpoint from Cooper Pratt here. in his first few games as a pro. But we got to take a quick break. But plenty more Brewers talk as we get set for, sounds like, the return of Brandon Woodruff tonight in a series against the Reds. And I know we got the Cubs coming up after that too, and we like to look a little bit ahead, but let's not fall flat on our face and lose a series against the Reds before we get to the Cubs here. So plenty more Brewers talk coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. And at Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Are you looking for power? How about comfort, reliability? Hey, they've got it all, backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. You can check them out online at toysonford.net or visit them at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls. All right, let's continue to talk some more Brewers here this morning. And, well, we've gotten a few more games under Cooper Pratt's belt here. And obviously a lot of the talk while he was in AAA been defense. It's just been his offense has to be the thing that, keep working on in that. Well, I mean, early impressions in just his first 19 at-bats, the dude's hitting .368, and he's got a .777 OPS so far. Incredibly early. Completely understand that. But, again, first impressions are a lot for a lot of people. And right now, you got to tip your cap to him, I think, because he's coming out and well, he's hit the ball pretty well, and hopefully we talk about confidence and building. Baseball is such a sport of streaks and ebbs and flows and that. But, for a guy that we have, as fans, have constantly been told he just needs to get better offensively, needs to continue to improve. Well, he's off to a really good start offensively, and I think, for a lot of Brewers fans, considering what we've seen from the left side of the infield from an offensive standpoint here for the last year plus now, I'll take a .368 or a .777 OPS in his first 6 career games. Obviously, those numbers are probably going to go down a little bit, but still, I think you got to give him a lot of credit for his first week or so into the big leagues, and I think he's playing pretty well at this point. He's already got 3 stolen bases here too, so I mean, when he is getting on base, dude's being effective. What's been your first impressions so far for Cooper Pratt?
First impressions, I mean, I love what I'm seeing out of him. Like you said, I mean, .368, and when you look at kind of the splits as well, he's hitting virtually the same from each side of the play, or each side of pitchers, lefty and righty.
Yep.
It's really nice to see, actually. It, hopefully gives you some flexibility in the lineup. I mean, he's a stable glove, even though he does have that one error, which was a little rough. But like you said, .368, the on-base percentage, I'd like to see a little bit high. I mean, .409 is obviously amazing, but I'd like it to be a little bit higher than the average than that. But I love what I'm seeing out of him. I can't really complain. Can't really ask for more. Like you said, the 3 stolen bases, it adds. He's effective on the base path and everything.
Yeah.
I love what I'm seeing out of him. I mean, and I'm hoping that he can be a stable bat in the order, especially that 8 spot.
Yeah.
Just get on for the top of the order, pretty much.
Right, and those 3 stolen bases, you probably look at him. If he's just standing there, you're watching him in the field. Dude's big. He's like 6'4".
He's 6. I thought he was like 6'2" or something.
Okay,
6'1", but he's a big guy.
Yeah, and he doesn't look like a guy that's gonna steal bases, right? I mean, he kind of towers over Bryce Terang.
Yeah, he is 6'4".
Is he 6'4"? Okay,
yeah, you did get that right.
So it's like he doesn't look like a threat to steal the base, but I mean, holy moly, he's got that sneaky speed we like to call out there. But yeah, first impressions, he's been good. He's been solid. Kind of maybe solidifying, like you said, the bottom of the order. And the thing is, I believe, too, like a lot of his hits, he's going to Oppo.
Yeah.
Punching it to right field, too.
Every single hit, except for one, has been Oppo. Which, I mean, even if it's just pushing it through the right side of the infield, that works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that he's got that confidence to push it over there, too, it's I mean, if we did like first quarter or first week grades in that, like you said, obviously the error, I kind of almost chalked that up to butterflies in his first game, the throwing error to first base. I got that out of the way, my first major league error, and just, all right, now we roll. But I've been very happy with what we've seen from Cooper Pratt, also knowing that, okay, those numbers are probably going to go a little bit down, but still, it's been, first impressions have been really, really solid so far. So,
well, and like you said, with the speed and him going Oppo, is if teams start to notice that, it might even be able to break up some double plays in the future, because that second baseman's not going to be able to cheat as far over.
Yeah.
And like you said, the sprint speed, I mean, Baseball Savant has him graded 85, which is great pretty much. I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do, even if it's just you come up with somebody on first and he beats out a double play, or he forces one to break up because they can't.
Right.
You can't defend the right side of the infield and cheat over to help you out with that double play.
Right.
I'm excited to see in the future.
Good point. That's a good point. So, what should the expectation, or what are your expectations for Brandon Woodruff now that he is, by all accounts, going to be making his return to the lineup, to the mound tonight for the Brew Crew? You can let us know. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or you can chime in on the Section 105 chat room on the video stream as well. So, even though the Brewers did drop 2 out of 3 against the Braves this past weekend, they still have a comfortable, nice lead in the division. You're looking at, as we open up another week here, they're up 5 games on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have been 4-6 in their last 10. It helps that the rest of the teams in the division haven't gone on these, nice runs and such, including, the Cubs are 6-4 in their last 10, but Pittsburgh 4-6 in their last 10, and the Reds 5-5 in their last 10. They did win their last 2 in a row, but they're 2 games under 500 at this point, as we are approaching already, believe it or not, the halfway mark of this season. We're about 46% of the way. So after another series or 2, we're going to be at the halfway mark of this season, which is kind of, I guess, July 4th is coming up here in a couple weeks, so it makes sense. But Brewers 46-29, Atlanta's 48-28, the Dodgers 49-29. If you're kind of keeping tabs of the teams on top of the chase in the National League, if we look at it from a Major League standpoint, Brewers still, it's those 3 teams, if you add in the American League teams, are the 3 best record-wise all across Major League Baseball. The Yankees are close. They're 46-30, but the Brewers holding on to a slight win percentage lead because of, the win-loss column there too. But did we learn anything? Friday we talked about this series with the Braves. It's kind of a nice benchmark series, going head-to-head against one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, and for some people, the best team in Major League Baseball at this point. Did we learn anything? Is it kind of going back to what we were saying a little bit earlier? Did it solidify the need for another bat within this lineup? Because you look at the first 2 games, you had quality starts from Mizorowski and Harrison, and they were close, but just not enough offense to take it over the top. Is that the biggest thing that we learned from this series, do you think?
Yeah, I think just like you said, that need for another bat, especially a power bat, was the biggest thing. Or, even somebody that can just hit with runners in scoring position. I remember, funny enough, this year when Brandon Lockridge went down, that was the biggest worry because he was one of the better hitters with runners in scoring position. And the Brewers had the bases loaded, I think, in the bottom, what was that, the 8th inning? Mm-hmm. And they could not score or get a run across, and they did that twice against the Guardians as well in that final game. So I think it just kind of solidifies that maybe that need for a bat, but also this offense is very streaky. You saw 7 runs in the second inning yesterday, and then or 8 runs, sorry, and then won the rest of the game. So I think it's just, kind of that need for another bat, a consistent bat, I would say.
Yeah, that consistent power bat in the middle of the order, right? And maybe that would have made the difference between a game out of these, last 2 games. And they were right there in game 2, but Braves able to put up those 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to get the come-from-behind victory. So, but, I would say, too, you look at, I don't think when looking at it's just a small sample size of 3 games between the Brewers and the Braves. And if we use the Braves as the example of one of the better teams in Major League Baseball, I don't think there's a huge gap from what we've seen in 3 games between the Brewers and the Braves. Braves, they won the series. So, right now, if we were to power rank them, you got to put the Braves ahead of the Brewers. But I don't think there's a huge gap. And I think if there's anything from last year that told us too, Brewers swept the Dodgers in the regular season, but when they meet in the postseason, it was a completely different story. But I think, from a benchmark standpoint, these are 2 teams that are right now, as we approach halfway through the season, cream of the crop in the National League along with the Dodgers. And I think that proved it from this past weekend too. So,
and like you said, the gap is definitely not big. It was a 1-run game on Friday, and then it took a walk-off heroic from Ozzie Albies, which I mean, I was busy, so I didn't see it, but I heard that he checked his swing on strike 3, and a lot of people were saying he went, and they said that he didn't, and then he hits that walk-off. So if that goes the different way, I mean, the Brewers could win that series and pick up 2 of 3. So, and you're going to see him again at home, so later in the year. But yeah, I think that, like you said, that gap is not a very wide gap. No. And I'm excited if they meet in the postseason, if the Brewers can make it and the Braves can make it. I'm excited to see that series because I think it'll be phenomenal.
I agree. All right, we got to take our final break, and we are cruising through on the first hour here this morning. So continue to send us your thoughts. You can hit us up. I know it's a Monday morning, and we're just groggling to get up. And then, by the way, how was your early wake-up call?
Believe it or not, I've kind of been up for a few hours.
Really? Okay.
I was nervous and excited about this at the same time.
Nice.
So as soon as I mean, my body kind of woke me up at pretty much 3:30 in the morning.
All right.
And I wasn't really able to fall asleep. So
nice. So, well, you wait till you get a few more of these under your belt and such. So, all right, let's take a quick break, and we'll start to wrap up the first hour already. But hit us up 715-830-1912, or again on the Section 105 chat room if you want to talk a little Brewers. Give us your thoughts on Giannis. We're going to hit that up coming up here in just a little bit. The latest rumors and reports or rumblings, whatever you want to call them, that are out there surrounding Giannis. What's your internal thermometer telling you? Do you think Giannis is going to be a member of the Milwaukee Bucks by Wednesday morning? Or do you think he'll be on a different team by then? Or maybe you think he's still going to be traded, but it won't be by the draft. How disappointed would you be if it wasn't by the draft? You can let us know on that too. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the first hour coming up after these quick words. Summer cookout season is here, and nobody does summer grilling better than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium steaks and fresh burgers to brats and chicken, you'll find quality and value throughout the store. Before your next cookout, stop by Mike's Star Market today and stock up on the freshest ingredients around. You can visit them at 2238 Heimstead Road in Eau Claire, and make sure to follow their Facebook page as well for the latest events and deals that are going on. I know they just had a car show over there a few days ago. So Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire, helping make summer gatherings a delicious one and a memorable one. So we're going to get to some Bucks chat here with the NBA draft starting tomorrow. That is kind of the soft deadline that was thrown out there by co-owner Jimmy Haslam to get a deal done for Giannis. Now, I know late last week there were some rumblings that even if a deal isn't done by the draft, it still could be done. But the latest kind of rumors and rumblings out there now, we've been hearing the Heat as the favorite. Now it seems like, based at least Mark Stein and some others, maybe the Celtics have kind of jumped into the lead now for Giannis. And I know Mark Stein had put up there that it's a Jaylen Brown kind of centered deal with that. And I know some Bucks fans, and probably a majority of Bucks fans, wouldn't like that move for Jaylen Brown. I wonder, if it is Jaylen Brown, do they flip Jaylen Brown somewhere else then for maybe more picks or younger players? But right now, my internal meter, Giannis meter, is probably at like an 8.3 that I feel like he's going to be dealt at this point. Where are you at?
I'm almost, I don't know. I don't want to say 5 because that seems like a cop out, but I'm almost more at a 4. I mean, this seems to happen every year. Granted, this year there's got more heat, no pun intended, on it. But I mean, it just seems like the Bucks are super reluctant or just want too much than teams are willing to give up. Even though Giannis is only 32 and had basically the entire year off last year, I think he's going to come back, pretty much the best version of himself. But based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like the Bucks just want too much, and I don't think teams are willing to budge. But as the draft gets closer, maybe a team is willing to throw in an extra first-round pick and go for it and just go all in. But yeah, I'm kind of at like a 4. But I'm not going to be surprised if he is dealt.
Yeah, because I was also seeing some of the stuff too where I think it was one of the rumors or reports out there. It said that the Bucks were just asking way too much for Giannis, that was turning teams away. And so maybe this is just my bias thinking is like, okay, maybe they're just putting a price tag on it that is so much that they know that teams probably aren't going to make that deal. But if a team does make that deal, it's like, okay, then we have to say yes because that's an amazing deal. Or, then it's like, okay, we'll keep Giannis and then we'll work on the extension. Or I can't see them letting him walk in free agency after this upcoming season. So if they begin the season with Giannis, do they still try to work on an extension? Do they trade him by the deadline? I don't know. But I can see that other point too is like, and again, I don't know if this is just my mind trying to convince myself of this. Are they just putting a price tag out there that is so high that no team would do it? But if a team does do it, the Bucks would be an idiot to not say yes to, because it's got to be the biggest trade package in the history of the NBA. Yeah. And I this one is so hard to gauge because I do feel like Giannis wants to play for Milwaukee, but I also feel like, this is just my opinion, is he confident in that roster? Because that's the other thing too, is like, whatever team he goes to, if that team is willing to give up this huge package, are they that much better than what Milwaukee's going to be if they trade away all these younger players and assets? Obviously if he goes to Boston, he's going to be paired up with Jason Tatum. But I think you look at a lot of these teams, you look at the Thunder, you look at the Spurs, even the Knicks, it's taken more than just 2 guys to win a championship.
Well, even when the Brewers had, I know Middleton isn't on those levels, but it took Middleton, Holiday, and then even like Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez playing like key contributor roles to go there. And again, this expected Heat offer, you get Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, and Jamie Jaquez Jr. and their number 13 overall pick. So that's like depleting them of quite a few players, even if they're not starters. I mean, it, like you said, is are they going to be able to compete because the Knicks, the Spurs, and the Thunder have such deep rosters. I mean, all of them have probably at least 4 players deep,
Right.
I'd say, and those were obviously the 3 best teams, at least in the postseason.
Right. Like, I get it that, Giannis, if he had his picking, he wants to go to a team that's going to win now. I mean, look at the age and all that. So there's some teams out there I just wonder, Miami specifically, he goes there. What's him and Bam? Lee, I can't see him and Bam with that Miami team all of a sudden being better than the Knicks, better than the Cavs or the Pistons or even the Celtics. If they keep Jaylen Brown and Tatum, I don't see that being a better team. And I don't know. I got to imagine Giannis is aware of that too, right? And maybe this is where it goes back to, is this a Giannis decision or is this more of an ownership decision? And I just wonder if it's more of a Bucks front office ownership decision at this point.
I think it kind of is. I mean, Giannis hasn't, as far as I know, publicly requested a trade. He hasn't really spoken much on it this offseason. So I think it's just kind of the owners deciding what to do and deciding, can we still win now? Can we still work out an extension? Which I think they can. The Miles Turner throwing Giannis under the bus last year might not help with that, but it certainly can be done. I mean, they have the number 10 overall pick, and if you hit on that, I mean, like you said, if he goes to Miami, it's him and Bam. If the Bucks hit on this 10th overall pick, the Bucks could be just as good as the Heat with Giannis. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do in the draft, especially if Giannis sticks around.
Because that's the other thing. You're going to get a top 10 pick. If you keep Giannis, you're getting a top 10 pick to add to him in a draft that a lot of the experts out there saying is a deep draft, is a draft that's got some talent in there. The only question I would have is, do I trust John Horst to make that correct pick?
I'm going to be honest. I do not trust John Horst to make that pick. The last, I don't know, however many first-round picks have been, it's A.J. Johnson, Marjon Beauchamp, R.J. Hampton, Kevin Porter Jr., but then they traded him. Yeah, right away. DiVincenzo, who has been a key role player, but from a first-round pick, you'd want more. I mean, just going back, they haven't had a hit on a first-round pick. I would say Giannis was their latest one. Jabari could have been, but he got injured, so that one.
I mean, their best one, even those picks too, wasn't John Horst picks.
No.
And you had Malcolm Brogdon there, and he was a second-round pick, but even like the DiVincenzo one, I think he's gotten better and more of a role player after his Bucks tenure.
Yeah,
when they traded
100%.
him. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off here as the first hour is going to come to an end. We got a few texts we got to get to here, but keep texting us or keep hitting us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or that Section 105 chat on the video stream. Zach, good morning on this video stream as well. So we'll get to your Bucks thoughts, and we'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. Shot clock's going to cut us off. So send us your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekends. We'll make our picks as well a little bit later on. All right, news updates. We'll be right back after these quick words. Here we go. Second hour kicks off right now. I don't know why that mic didn't turn on, but usually it does. So, second hour kicking off on this Monday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start. Whether you're listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or hanging out online, you can stream it up at our website, sportstalk1051.com. The app, download it, take it on the go. Video streams also up and rolling. You got your smart devices like your Alexa devices. Mike on the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line saying, I would love to see what these offers are. Are the Bucks really asking too much, or are the big markets trying to take advantage of a smaller market team? I don't know if it's necessarily that. I just wonder is this a classic case of negotiation where Bucks are asking really high and trying to see if they can get as much as possible. I think now the fact that the draft is tomorrow, it's kind of a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to say yes first? Or really, who do you think holds the cards? Is it the Bucks or is it these teams that are making the offers? I kind of still think it's the Bucks, isn't it? I mean, they got the prize horse, if you will, in this thing. And I get it. There's a timeline, there's a deadline to get this. And I think the longer you hold on to him, those offers probably go down. Because I would imagine that compared to right now and to the trade deadline in the middle of the season or towards the end of the season, you're not going to get as much in return as you would right now for Giannis. So I guess you can make the case for both sides here. Maybe a team like Miami is like, okay, we're not going to pay that. We're just going to wait till he's going to be a free agent and sign him and put all of our resources into that. So, Jesse, who do you think holds the cards in this thing?
It honestly, to me, feels like the other teams, the ones trying to buy, hold the cards kind of for the same reason that you did, saying like, okay, well, if the Heat say, we'll use our 13th pick and then we'll kind of reconvene at the deadline, if you're not in a position to win and Giannis isn't happy, then you're clearly going to deal him and we can get him for cheaper. Mm-hmm. Or like you said, just wait till he's a free agent because like you said, the two players doesn't really get you a championship anymore, especially with these deep teams. So teams could definitely wait unless you have an aging team where you are for sure that like this is the last year you need to win now. Kind of how it felt like the Rams with Matthew Stafford. They know he's getting older, so they traded for Myles Garrett. If you're not sure that that's going to bring you a championship and your team is all basically going to retire, your star player is going to retire, you can kind of wait a little bit on Giannis. Wait till he's a free agent after this season or try to get him at the deadline if the Bucks are in shambles and looking to sell.
Right. Yeah. It's if this thing does happen with Giannis and he gets traded, I'll be really curious. I think we're all curious to see what that package is, because I think the biggest question, and this goes back to when it was first starting, these talks and these rumors started to really pick up. How do you put a price on a player like Giannis?
It's tough,
right? I mean, that's like, what's enough? Is it 4 first round, 5, 6, 7 first? What? How do you put a price on? How do you value what he is worth in a trade? When you get to those type of players, especially when it's the NBA, where it's like, at least in the NFL, when you trade first round picks, you're only allowed to trade 3 first round picks, future first round picks. And I get NBA's got weird rules, and it's really hard to kind of keep track of everything.
Their cap is even really weird too. All the second apron stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's really confusing, but it's like that just makes it harder to really put a price tag on somebody like Giannis. I get it; he's only 32, but kind of like what you were saying earlier on, he missed a lot of time last year. He's not playing Europe basketball this summer. He's probably going to be incredibly motivated, whether it's for the Bucks or another team. I think he knows he's, now in his early, getting close to his mid-30s. It's been a few years since he won a championship. He's going to probably put more pressure on himself to go out there and make sure that he's going to be fit. Because I think that's the other part. I would hope at least Giannis realizes this too, wherever he's playing. You look at the last few years of the Bucks and their playoffs, and we could say the last couple of years with Doc Rivers just didn't work out. But, I mean, you look at the other playoff series, it was injuries that I think was the biggest factor of what derailed them into playoffs, whether it was Giannis being hurt, Chris Middleton being hurt, Dame being hurt. It's just those injuries. I almost chalk it up to bad luck at bad timing for some of those Bucks teams.
But that's been the story the last however many years. Mm-hmm. There's always been one significant injury in the playoffs. It's either Giannis, Middleton, Damian Lillard, and Giannis. I mean, it's every single year it's been happening. So, I mean, like you said, though, you can just kind of chalk it up. It is just bad luck, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah. And I think, any sport, we kind of talk about it too, whether it's the Packers, in the playoffs and the NFL playoffs, and it's a lot of those teams, it's the healthiest teams. When they get in, there's luck involved in some of this, and it's just been really bad luck for the Bucks, because I still firmly believe if Dame did not tear his Achilles in the playoffs, Dame would still be on the Bucks, and I don't know if we're having these discussions as much as we are.
I think you're right. I mean, obviously him getting older and tearing his Achilles was a massive factor of why they moved him, why he went back to Portland. But it's just unfortunate to see that, because it's almost a what could have been. I mean, in a few years down the road, the Broncos could be asking the same question. Like Bo Nix, he broke his ankle last year in the divisional round, and you saw how that ended up for them. So it's just kind of, like you said, healthiest team usually wins.
Right.
And unfortunately, the Wisconsin teams, Packers and Bucks, have not been healthy recently.
Heck, even the Brewers, when it comes to pitching, it feels like when it gets to the postseason too.
Yeah.
Brandon Woodruff being the prime example from the last few years too. But where are you at on the Giannis-o-meter? You can send us a text or hit us up on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or chime in on the Section 105 chat. So we'll keep you posted. But, I mean, right now, I don't know, from some of the stuff that you saw, Justin, it seems like maybe that's, if we believe a lot of the rumors and reports, maybe the Celtics now are the leader in the clubhouse. If Jaylen Brown is a part of that, do you feel like Jaylen Brown's going to wear a Bucks uniform? I almost feel like he's not, and I feel like they're going to flip him somewhere else and get more younger players or even more draft picks. I can't see Jaylen Brown wearing a Bucks uniform next season.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Jaylen Brown does not seem like a big Milwaukee guy. It seems almost like that city is, I don't want to say beneath him, because I don't know the guy personally. He could be a great person, but yeah, I don't see him playing for the Bucks. They probably do try to flip him for more younger. I mean, try to get the team younger, which is such a dramatic turnaround from last season, signing Miles Turner in the offseason and thinking that they were going to be back on top, and just going to now potentially trading Giannis and just trying to get a lot younger and a lot more draft capital.
Right. So Monday morning, we do our Monday morning quarterbacking with little Chat GPT. Hey, if somebody comes up with a really creative name for our Monday morning quarterback, Chat GPT, I'll send you a swag stuff. But MMGBT right now, and this is going to be big during the football season, because everybody's going to question Matt LaFleur and decision making, and that we've done a couple with the Brewers, and should they have pulled Brandon Sproat or done that? Should Pat Murphy have done that? Well, we simply asked our Chat GPT this morning, what would you do with Giannis? Would you trade him? Would you keep him? What would you do, Monday morning quarterback? And well, they said, if I'm running the Bucks, first of all, I asked, what's your asking price for Giannis? That's the $1 million question, right? Like, what is it? And well, Chat GPT said, if I'm running the Bucks, my asking price starts at a franchise-altering package. Duh. But it says Giannis is still in his prime, still one of the 3 to 5 best players in basketball, sells tickets, fills arenas, and gives you a chance to win a championship every season. I'm not trading him unless another team feels uncomfortable after hanging up the phone. My minimum ask, a young future star, someone who has legitimate all-NBA upside, not a, quote, good young player, a future face of the franchise player. 3 to 4 first-round picks, 3 unprotected firsts minimum, at least 1 to 2 pick swaps, 1 additional young rotation player. So then I followed it up. They also said, what I'm not taking, no package headlined by a 30-year-old all-star, expiring contracts, or 2 late first-round picks. The dream package, if I could write the trade myself, a young future superstar plus 4 first-round picks plus 2 pick swaps and another young starter. So I asked, what would be a trade package that would be acceptable for you from the Celtics and the Heat? Here we go. Boston gets Giannis. Milwaukee receives Jaylen Brown, Baylor Shireman, 3 to 4 first-round picks, 2 picks. Why I'd consider it: Brown immediately keeps Milwaukee relevant while the picks help reset the franchise. Why I probably say no. Not good enough to win a title. Not bad enough to rebuild. A Brown-centered package is good, but it doesn't include the future superstar-type prospect I'm looking for. Be a B- grade. Miami, Ware, Jaquez Jr., Jovic, 4 unprotected first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. That's a B+ package. So, but our chat GPT doesn't think the Bucks are going to trade Giannis. He's actually given it an 80% chance that Giannis plays the Bucks this season. So that's what the artificial intelligence world is telling us about Bucks and Giannis. So.
It's funny that that's the trade package that chat GPT says is fair. And then the report comes out about the Bucks being unreasonable in their trade ask. Are the Bucks just using chat GPT and they say, if we're not getting this, we're not doing it? They're not, I know, but it's kind of funny how ChatGPT says that you need to give up this much, and other teams are calling the Bucks unreasonable when they're probably asking for that, maybe a little bit less than that even.
Right, exactly. I kind of wish there's a mystery team that's just lurking. That's not Boston. That's not Miami. I don't know who that team would be. I don't know if Oklahoma would consider something or any of those other. I would love a young, controllable superstar to kind of build around. But I feel like, too, if you're going to trade Giannis, I don't know if you feel the same way. Just blow it all up. If you're going to trade Giannis, you might as well try to get somebody to take Miles Turner from you. Bobby Portis, I love Bobby Portis, but try to get just blow it all up. Yeah. It's going to suck for basketball for a couple of years, but it worked for the Thunder. It doesn't guarantee it's going to work. Because, again, I don't know if I trust John Horst. That's the big question mark. But you look at the Thunder, you look at the Spurs, and you would hope that that's kind of the model. But if you're going to trade Giannis, get rid of every other veteran and try to just to load up on some younger developmental players.
Basically keep Kevin Porter Jr., A.J. Green, and Ryan Rollins.
And you may have to pay somebody to take Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, that trade is just a massive head scratcher. I don't know why they did it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Spurs have even called about him.
I don't know. Because part of me is like how they lost those finals. Does that kind of okay, we're close.
Yeah. And I think their team is fairly young and controllable, so you would think that they would be comfortable giving up maybe one of those players.
Yeah.
Because I think was it Keldon Johnson was coming off the bench for them?
I think so.
You would think they'd be fine maybe giving up him, even though he's a role player, but you're getting Giannis in return. If they would be comfortable giving up him and then some picks, since they do have a younger team.
Right.
But they're the youngest team to make the finals in quite a few years, if not the youngest team. So
yeah.
If you're talking about a third team lurking, I feel like the Spurs would fit that kind of demographic, which my fiance, a massive Spurs fan, she would love that.
Oh, is she? Nice.
Her father's from Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, Jay Billis would have a field day on draft night talking about wingspan with Wembanyama and Giannis. With those two, although that would be kind of fun. Good luck driving the lane with those two clogging it.
Yeah, that'd be brutal for other teams.
Yeah. All right. We got to take a quick break, but plenty more to get to here this morning. Don't forget to send us your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. We'll be right back after these quick words. Summer puts your vehicle to the test, and AJM Automotive is ready to help you win that battle and to pass that test. With two convenient Eau Claire locations, AJM Automotive can handle everything from oil changes and inspections to brakes, tires, and major repairs. Before your next road trip, make sure your vehicle is ready for wherever summer takes you. Trust the team at AJM Automotive. They've got two locations and one commitment, keeping you safely on the road all summer long. You can make your appointments and find out more by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. So, have you been following a little bit of the World Cup? Are you kind of getting into it a little bit? Where are you at on the whole soccer spectrum?
I'm very into it. I'm at least very into the U.S.'s run.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just looking up when they play next, and they play on Thursday. So I'm excited to see them play Turkey. They were already advanced to the round of 32.
Yep.
So, and then Antonio Freeman's son being on the team is also really cool as well.
Getting the goal on Friday too.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I love that. That's kind of what's getting me sucked in. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but watching a little bit on Friday, and then now the Freeman connection. Then he scores a goal. It's like, okay, I'm starting to get sucked in a little bit more.
I basically kind of pay attention to the World Cup when it happens. And that's about the only time. Like I said, or like you said, I'm not the biggest soccer fan either. But it is cool seeing a former Packers player's son on the team. And now that the U.S. is actually looking the best they've been since the early 1900s, it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
So,
yep.
But yeah, I saw a post like father and son, it's a game of inches or something, and it was Freeman that close offsides, and then Antonio Freeman and the catch that he made off of his. Yep. Yeah, it was both of those
cool.
side by side. I thought that was pretty fun.
That's all. I did not see that would have to be a sweet photo for sure. What do we got here? We got Mike with the text. OKC, I'm surprised, is not in trade talks. We've seen in the playoffs where their bench can score 70 points in a game. I'm assuming some of those players are going to start asking for more money. If you could cherry pick a few guys off that team and their first round picks, then you're drafting number 10 and 12 this year. Do you think they would acquire a superstar between one of those 5 or 6 guys that you could acquire? I'm assuming that you mean from that Thunder squad. Well, I mean, this is one thing I got to keep telling my soon-to-be 9-year-old too. Just because Giannis is his favorite player, the Bucks are his favorite. He's like, well, if they're going to go to the Thunder, let's, for example, say, then they should get SGA. That's not how it works, kid. Trying to explain that is a little bit hard at times too for a 8-9-year-old kiddo out there. But okay, so let's just for funsies look at OKC's roster. I think a lot of people would assume that would Chet Holmgren be a part of that package, especially after, well, what we saw, what he was not able to do against the Spurs. Anybody besides SGA kind of look at that roster and be like, okay, for maybe a younger player that you could build around? Is there anybody that really stands out to you on that roster?
Not in particular, honestly. I mean, I know I would want Jared McCain as a role player, just watching him fire off threes in the Eastern or the Western. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. The Western Conference Finals was a lot of fun. But I as like a centerpiece on the trade, like in return, I don't know who they would be willing to give up, but there's not anybody on here that I really am like, oh my God, I would love to see that trade go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jalen Williams, would they be willing to part with him?
That's who I was thinking, but that's the thing is I don't know if they'd be willing to part with him.
Right. And I know, was it Mitchell kind of, but is he somebody that I don't know. I don't know. They definitely got, a lot of, everybody thinks the Bucks need some more guards or a prototypical point guard. Well, Thunder have got plenty of guards to choose from if that was, part of that package. But I don't know. Like the Thunder just won the championship too. How much would they want to blow that up? They won the championship 2 years ago or the season prior. They went to Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. That's the thing. Would the Thunder want to completely kind of blow it up? And when I say completely, giving up a lot of picks. And yes, they have a lot of first-round picks.
That was my thing. They have the picks to do it.
Right.
But the players, is that the part that they're...
And they've already locked up some players to contracts, too. So would the money fit for them? Because the other part in this, too, is we saw the Rockets. And this is the example I kind of always go to. The Rockets a couple of years ago were second in the Western Conference standings, and then what do they do in the offseason? They acquire Kevin Durant, thinking, all right, that's going to take us to the top. You can really make the case that they got worse with Kevin Durant on the roster. And I think if you're a team like the Thunder or some of these other teams, do you look at what the Rockets did and be like, okay, was that worth it? Was the juice worth the squeeze, to bring in? It's not a knock on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a great player, great scorer, but sometimes that just doesn't work out when you bring in, you got a good core of players and then you bring in somebody at the level of Kevin Durant. Doesn't necessarily always make your team like, okay, you're the best team in the league then.
Well, basketball, too, with 5 people on the court, chemistry is a massive part of it, too. Like you said, do you blow it all up for that one superstar who might go against the grain of the team or might want the ball the entire time? Yeah, that's a massive question you need to ask every single time.
Right.
I feel like this Thunder team, they've all played together now for like 2 years or so. Is that why the Thunder are staying out of it? Do they even want to try to bring in Giannis? They were 1 game away without him. Yeah, getting him might put you over the top, but that might also mess up that chemistry big time as well.
Yeah, we've seen it not in how many different leagues, whether it's been the NFL or the NBA. We've seen it multiple times too. You bring in these big name players, and Giannis is a very unique player too because he's 6'10", 6'11", but he's got to have the ball. He's ball dominant. I mean, he's literally said that in public too last year. He's like, I got to have the ball. The ball's got to come through me. Well, then I think you have to look at particular teams. Is that style going to fit with what they want to do?
That's the other thing, because he's not a point guard and he wants the ball through him. If he goes to a team with another superstar as like the headliner, like Tatum, like will that necessarily work out?
Right.
Because both of them are going to want the ball.
Right.
Giannis probably more so because, his big thing is he drives to the lane, and I love watching it. But is it going to work with another superstar?
Right.
Is always the issue, I feel like.
Exactly. And that's where, you can look at the championship team, and I think you look at that Bucks championship team, and you even kind of compare it to the teams that are competing for the championships, and you see a lot of similarities to it. Okay, Thunder, SGA, and a lot of really good players too. And not to makes it sound like they don't have any other superstars, but good players. Jalen Brunson, the Knicks, right? The the Spurs, everybody. Victor Wembanyama is kind of the focal, but a ton of young talents, Castle, Harper, and all those guys. And then you look at that Bucks team; it was Giannis, but Middleton. They don't win without Middleton. They don't win without Drew Holiday playing fantastic defense and having some great offensive games when they needed that. PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, those type of guys. It's gone, I think, are the days of the 3-headed monster teams that LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh tried to do, and they did successfully with the Heat. And then adding in some veterans like Jason Williams or some of those other guys to kind of fill in those veteran roster roles. I just think now it's back to we got to have a deeper team. It's going to take more than just 3 future Hall of Famers, 3 perennial All-Stars to win this. It sounds like man, you can't win with 3 All-Stars. You could win games. I just don't know if you can win a championship after that anymore.
Yeah, well, with like you said, the Knicks, Spurs being stacked, you need a deep team like that, I think, to make the run. And I'm okay with that. I like that more than just, teams going and forming a super team.
Yep.
And maybe that's, this weird cap working its magic and making it kind of like that. But I like that these teams are deep and but it's not like a 3-headed monster. Yeah, in the Knicks you had Brunson and Cap, but it's not like you had that like super team kind of feel.
All right.
They just almost seem like a team that caught fire.
Well, who did the Bucks beat on their way to a championship? Granted, it was literally by an inch and it went to Game 7, but it was the Nets with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. And I know the Nets were banged up. I think, was it Kyrie that had the hamstring? Was it Harden?
I think Harden was hurt the entire thing, and then Kyrie got injured, I want to say, in that series.
Yeah,
which Nets fans are still mad at Giannis because I think he was standing where he came down, and I don't think it was intentional. But
KD wore a size too big of a shoe too, so I mean, literally an inch away. But that you look at that, and yes, I get it was close. It was really close, but even that Suns team that went to the finals, Booker was a big part of it, but it was Chris Paul. It was Ayton was on that team. Bridges, who just won a championship, was a part of that team too. It was a deeper team that went there. So, All right, we got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more, though, coming up after these few words. Summer is here, and that means it is the perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project that you've been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has the flooring options you're looking for. From beautiful luxury vinyl planks to carpet, tile, and more, you'll find quality products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring to fit your style, your budget, and, your lifestyle too. And with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Make this summer the summer you transform your home. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. Carpet City Flooring Center, helping you love where you live. You can continue to send us your thoughts on Giannis and the trade rumors and all that good stuff. Brewers are going to be back at it tonight. Let's get back to a little more Brewers talk before we have to let Justin go here for the morning. But Brewers back at it tonight, taking on the Reds. You can listen to that game right here on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. First pitch at 6:10. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. So, all accounts, all the talk out there is that Brandon Woodruff will make his return to the rotation tonight. On the other side, you've got Brady Singer going for the Cincinnati Reds. His latest outing back on the 16th, he picked up a win against the Mets. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. So far this year in 14 games started, Brady is 3-6 with a 5.32 ERA. Brewers hitters, there's, quite a bit of experience. Vaughn has the most experience going up against him. In 35 career at-bats, he is hitting .257 with 1 home run and a .649 OPS. Others, Yelich has a home run against him in 9 career at-bats, a .222 average, but an .856 OPS. Turang in 8 career at-bats, .375 with a 1.080 OPS. Frelick, maybe this is a game for Salvatore, the summer of Sal. We're still waiting for that, man. 9 career at-bats, .444, and a 1.111 OPS. Jackson Cheerio, 8 career at-bats, .375 with an .875 OPS. So you got some Brewers hitters who are pretty familiar with Singer and have had some consistent success going up against him here too. So, but we'll see I think that's going to be one of the biggest keys for tonight. If it is, in fact, Brandon Woodruff, which all accounts is going to be Woodruff tonight, can he get the run support early? I think is going to be a big thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think he will. I mean, but then again, this is the sort of trap game the Brewers like to fall victim to. You see a pitcher who's kind of been down on his luck, not having a great season, and then he comes out and throws 7 shutout against the Brewers as well. I've seen it hundreds of times, it feels like.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, kind of playing down to the competition, which I think a lot of Brewers fans over the last few years have kind of noted. Like, they can go and sweep the Yankees, sweep the Dodgers, but then they'll lose 4 games to the Pirates or something like that, But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's, with Woodruff on the mound tonight, it'll kind of spark. I would think it's just kind of a natural thing for the rest of his teammates. Like, okay, Woody's on the mound, you're kind of a little bit more dialed in. You're pumped that your veteran leader is back, and maybe you want to do just a little bit more for Woodruff. You got Woodruff's numbers going up against the Reds. What do those look like? 13 games total he's pitched against them?
Looks like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Most recent start, he looked electric, honestly. I mean,
2022.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's been
a while, yeah. But, I mean, 11 strikeouts in that performance, 6 innings pitched.
And that was at Cincinnati, too. So
yeah, so he'll be back there tonight. I mean, whoopsies, I definitely did not mean to click that. It looks kind of like, oh my goodness. Sorry, this is just...
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, he normally looks like he goes about 6 innings, which is what we want from him tonight.
11 Ks the last couple games he's gone up against them, too. So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like, just kind of your basic stats, 11 11 strikeouts the last 2 times is very promising, though. But like you said, it's been a few years since he faced them. So
Right. So completely different lineup.
But also, the last 4 games he's faced him, he has given up runs. So
okay.
He's only come out unscathed against the Reds, it looks like 2 times in his career, if I'm looking at that right.
All right.
So
definitely need that run support to help back him up in tonight's game. But I'm just excited to see him back on the mound and hopefully, knock on wood, stay healthy for the rest of the season, especially when we get to the postseason, and just provide that veteran stable presence. I mean, they've been getting the job done with Miz and Harrison. I don't think there's any concern with those two outside of injuries that they're going to be fine. But like what you were saying in the first hour, that third starter in this rotation, like who is it? I don't know if we know who that. We're not to the postseason yet. We got half a season to go, but I think the first 2 pitchers are kind of set in stone right now if we were to look at it for the Brewers. And that's the question when you get to the postseason. If you go with a 4-man rotation, well, who's your third? Who's your fourth? Can it be Robert Gasser? Now he's had 2 back-to-back games. Logan Henderson was pitching well. He's banged up. I think if you ask a lot of Brewers fans, you're kind of hoping Woodruff's a part of that equation. I think the Brewers are too, obviously. I mean, one, they are paying him $20-some million this year to be a pitcher. So, but I think is maybe one of the questions that's remaining with this pitching unit is who's that 3 guy? Who's that 4 guy if you were to kind of power rank it at this point? And I think it's a legit question.
Yeah. And that veteran stable presence like you keep mentioning is very important because I think they showed the stat yesterday that it's the youngest rotation right now in baseball, and I don't know if that was factoring in Woodruff or not. I think it was like 26.8 years old was like on average. So having that stable person, that veteran that is used to these situations, or like, if you go down in a series, maybe like in the playoffs or something, having somebody that like has been there, knows that it's okay I think is needed.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Exactly. So I'm excited to see him go out there on the mound. Hopefully he's kind of gotten the stuff that we saw at the beginning of the season, not that 80-something mile an hour. You feel bad for Woodruff. If we talk about luck and injuries, that guy has gone through some awful luck with injuries in the last few years. Not pitching for a complete year, getting hurt right before the postseason the year prior and missing the following year. And then last year trying to come back and a couple of setbacks that had nothing to do with his shoulder. It was getting hit by a pitch or rolling his ankle, and just kind of setting it. And then not able to pitch in the postseason again. So some really bad luck with him.
You go back a few years, he hasn't started 20 games since 2022. 2023, that was injury, and then he was hurt all of 2024. 2025, he came back, but then was injured towards the end of it again. And then this year, he's only started 6 games so far. And even one of those starts is, you can basically scratch that one start because it was Arizona where he didn't even throw 2 full innings.
Right. Yeah. It's only 6 though too. So okay, 5 games. Mm-hmm. I thought he had more. That just kind of tells you.
It feels like he should have had more.
Yeah, exactly. So that Arizona one. And so you're looking at Pittsburgh. That was his first loss. So his last full game, April 24th, really was the last time we saw Brandon Woodruff go out there for a full game. So nearly 2 months finally to that day we're going to see Brandon Woodruff back out on the mound. So, all right, we got to take our final break here as we approach halftime. So continue to send us your VFW Post 305 best and worst of the weekend. We'll get to those coming up in the next hour. We'll hit those up so you got plenty more time to send those on over. Mark Stein with a quick update on Giannis. If the Bucks indeed choose Boston's offer over Miami's, sources say now Milwaukee's ownership's insistence on getting a bona fide star, Jaylen Brown, back for Giannis would be among the deciding factors, as much as the Bucks want to hold 2 lottery picks in Tuesday's draft. So seems like if that's all on the up and up, ownership wants Jaylen Brown. But does Jaylen Brown want Milwaukee?
I don't.
I can see Jaylen Brown going out there and say, I ain't playing.
Yeah, 100%.
I could see him. No, I'm good. Yeah, nope. I'm going to refuse to do this. Yeah. Oh. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll hit on that a little bit more as we wrap up the second hour after these quick words. Summer road trips, they create some great memories, but sometimes accidents happen. You don't like to think about it, but sometimes they do. If a fender bender puts dents in your plans, you could trust the fine folks at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. When life bumps into your vehicle, count on Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like it's back to new. So, all right. If the Bucs ownership group actually does want Jaylen Brown, does that? First of all, I think you and I both agree Jaylen Brown doesn't. And from everything out there, it says Jaylen Brown doesn't want to play for the Bucs, which is no surprise, right? That one's. I don't think that surprises anybody. But if the Bucs want Jaylen Brown, and somehow they can convince him to play and be happy in that really changes the outlook for the rest of the offseason, because then I wouldn't say you're necessarily rebuilding. You're kind of retooling, and then you're trying to find players to fit around Jaylen Brown then. And I don't know if that's what they're thinking. Like, hey, we don't want to go through a complete rebuild or a reset, whatever we're going to call it, retool. A lot of R words in there if we want to use Aaron Rodgers' retool comment. But if it is Brown, and let's assume that he gets convinced to play and be, the face of the franchise, the leader in that, does that fit better with Miles Turner? Does that fit better with – because I'm trying to think, what else could you do to – if you're going to roll in the season with Jaylen Brown, I feel like you got to do a couple more things, because he's going to be 30 during the season, at the beginning part of the season, I believe. So it's not like he's a super young player. But that really changes. Yeah, you still have the 10th pick and maybe another first-round pick to pair up with him. Or the 10th pick. I don't know. That's a different approach than what we've been kind of talking about, where it's just all young guys, new guys, and rebuild. I feel like if Brown is a part of that, they're going to flip him for more picks in that. Because, I mean, if you're trying to shed some salary, it's pretty even when you're bringing on board Brown and Giannis and that. So, a bona fide, I don't. If the Bucks want a bona fide star, why not just keep Giannis then?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, thank you for bringing up the Rodgers retool comment, because I could not remember who said that for the life of me. It was bugging me. But yeah, I think the Brown thing is it'd be interesting, because if they can convince him to play, well, then you have that guard that everybody's looking for, and then maybe Miles Turner's more effective because he's the premier big man then, and you can kind of run through that. Or if Brown, like we've been seeing, and apparently it's been reported that he does not want to play in Milwaukee, well, then you can, like you said, do what the Thunder did, maybe just blow it all up and try to get as much as you can, because Brown he's a little bit younger than Giannis. Like you said, he's going to be 30. Giannis is going to be 32, so a couple of years younger, and he's locked up for 3 years. So that you'd probably get a really good return for him. Yeah. So I honestly, the Jaylen Brown trade would probably be the most intriguing thing, and it would also just bring in the most to talk about, because you can do two things. You could either get people to try to convince him to play, or worst comes worst, you trade him, blow it all up, and just completely go into a deep rebuild. Which, do we trust John Horst to make the picks? That's another conversation. But it'd be interesting to see just a complete tear down. I mean, we haven't seen a Wisconsin sports team do that in a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been nice not to have to go through that. I think every year people assume the Brewers are doing it, but then they just keep surprising everybody. And
I mean, they've won the division 4 straight years, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then the Packers, you had Favre into Rodgers into Love. Yeah, you had some
down years.
Yeah,
there, but
one of them gets hurt or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty sustained success in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
At least for the professional teams. I can't speak in the college teams.
I was going to say Badger football might, I don't know if I call that a rebuild, maybe a relapse.
Hey, Colton Joseph this year.
Yep.
I'm hopeful.
Fingers crossed, man. So, but I just, the Brown, I almost wonder, is this, getting leaked out to try to get Miami to up the offer more?
Oh, that's a good theory.
Is it is it a little gamesmanship here? Like, hey, Celtics are going to do this, and reportedly Milwaukee really likes this. Is this Milwaukee throwing this out there saying, we like this, so Miami, if you want him, you got to up the offer? Because I'll be real, Tyler Hero doesn't really trip my trigger. I know he's a Wisconsin kid. I don't think that's a player you can build around. I think he is I can't believe I'm going to agree with Doc Rivers on this, but he called him like a closer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's your go-to guy, but I think he's a nice piece to add to a superstar guy. He's like your 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's not the number one. Well, I was even seeing, I don't know who the third team, well, it'd be Detroit, but there might be a 3-team trade, Miami, Detroit, and Milwaukee, where Hero goes to Detroit, Giannis goes to the Heat. I don't know who the Bucks would get back or what they would get, but yeah, I mean, this is saying somebody maybe like Isaiah Stewart, Duncan Robertson, Ron Holland, but I'm not sure who the Pistons would be comfortable giving up. But I mean, we could see that even happen.
Yeah, I've seen something similar to that too, which I'm like, okay, that's more younger players coming over to the Bucks too. I just if Tyler Hero is the prize, take away the Wisconsin connections, and that to me doesn't factor into this as a fan. And obviously I hope that doesn't factor into it for the Bucks, but
well, also how much of a true Wisconsin kid is he, because he did decommit from the Badgers and went to play for Kentucky. So,
and he might not even want to play for the Bucks either.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
I remember the Brewers had him on for a first pitch, and I was at that game, and I was like, why do we have him on for the first
I didn't know
pitch?
did he throw first?
He did.
Okay.
I forgot what game it was.
Okay.
I've been to quite a few, but I just remember seeing him out there. I was like, okay, cool, he's from Wisconsin, but other than that, he doesn't really have any connections.
Was that before or after the whole Tyrese Halliburton drama one when he was supposed to throw
think it was
first pitch?
after.
Was it after?
I'm pretty sure it was
that makes
after.
it even better now, actually. So, oh man, but okay, we only got a couple minutes left to the top, so you can continue to send us your thoughts. We got text to catch up on in the next hour and some other messages. But if you're just joining in and you hear that other voice again, this is Mr. Justin. We got to come up with a nickname for you though, so we're gonna leave it up to the vote to the listeners. All right. Well, we need a few games, few mornings to get to. So Justin's going to be joining us for a couple hours each Monday morning. So if you want to chime in, you want to talk with Justin or us both or whatever, hit us up. All right, 715-830-1912. You can text it or you can send over a comment on the Section 105 chat room. So it's going to be fun having Justin aboard and helping us out, and perfect timing too because baseball's your go-to, your favorite one, right?
Oh yeah,
so, Brewers and that, so perfect timing to get to that. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and welcome aboard again, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. So prediction though, before I let you go, game one with this series with the Reds with Singer on the mound, and then let's assume Brandon Woodruff.
So Brewers take it 6-4.
All right. And then, because I'm actually going to be out next week, but by the time I talk to you next, is Giannis still going to be on the Bucks?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
That's what it feels like. But the more and more I'm looking at it, my heart wants to say yes, but my head is saying no.
That's where I'm at.
I feel like is what I know it's a cop-out answer, but I'm just going to say yes. We'll go yes.
I think that's what a lot of Bucks fans are feeling. And I know a lot of Bucks fans are getting annoyed with it, but this is kind of a big Wisconsin sports moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the reality of being a fan of a small market who has a superstar.
Yep.
We saw this for many years with Rogers.
Yep. Exactly. All right. There's a shot clock. We are at halftime. We got some news updates, but we'll be back. We're going to be chatting with the Express coming up just past 9 o'clock, too. So we'll take a quick break and be back after these quick words. All right, halftime's over with, you crazy kids, and we are on to the third quarter. Thanks for hanging out with us, no matter where you are listening to us from or how you are listening to us. Coming up this hour, we're going to get back to our 250 countdown. All right, so I got 15 more moments, athletes, people, things, plays, games that you cannot tell the history of America, of America's 250th anniversary coming up on, obviously, July 4th. But we can't tell the history of sports in America without some of these. So I got another 15 for you. All right. So we're going to get to that coming up here this hour. It is a VFW Post 305, best and worst from the weekend. So what is the best and what is the worst of the weekend? Would you consider this one of your best, Matt, on the video stream on the Section 105 chat room? Saying went to another Bananas game this weekend. Such a fun experience. Get your kids out to one when they come around. I know they were just recently in Milwaukee. I think they're going to be at Target Field. Is it August? I know some of my Little League kids, they're going to that, and some of them did go to the one in Milwaukee. So, that thing is just exploded. The Bananas have exploded. And I've heard some people kind of, they're indifferent on it. Some use it as, are they good for baseball? Some use it, are they bad for baseball? Purists, or like, where do you stand on the Savannah Bananas? Say, is it more for the kids, or do you think, is this good for baseball to maybe get kids to jump on the baseball bandwagon? What are your thoughts? What is your take on it? All right, let me know. Hit me up with a text, with a message, or a comment in the video stream. I'm curious to get what side you're on. Some feel it's too gimmicky. It's for baseball. They want the traditional baseball. Some enjoy it. It's good entertainment. Is it good for baseball? I think it's good for the sense of getting kids interested in the game of baseball. Because I feel like, and I'll be honest, I have not seen a full game. I've seen highlights. But I think it's good in the sense of getting younger kids interested, attached, involved in the game, getting them sucked in a little bit. And just, they're liking the game of baseball, and then hopefully they continue to enjoy the game, and they continue to love the game and want to play the game and develop a fanism for the game of baseball. So I don't have a problem with it. And honestly, I kind of want to check one out too, but man, it feels like anytime they get close to us, they're sold out like that. All right, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk too as we get set for their series against the Cincinnati Reds. Brandon Woodruff, from all accounts, we're going to see him make his comeback tonight. So hopefully that'll get a W. Brewers dropping 2 out of 3 against the Braves this past weekend. Did that series against the Braves, one of baseball's best teams. What did it tell you as a Brewers fan? Did it tell you they need more offense? Did it tell you they need more bullpen help at the back end because they gave up a blown save in Game 2? Did it tell you anything? Or did it not tell you anything? What's your thoughts? Hit me up, 715-830-1912. All right. Let's do I got my VFW Post 305 best and worst of the weekend. Then we'll take a break and then continue our 250 countdown. So Father's Day weekend, I'm sure maybe not all, but maybe some good ones out there for fellow dads out there. Mine was spent at the ballpark. Some Little League tournaments and such. So best of the weekend, getting to hang out at the ballpark with the kiddos and some good friends and such. So that's never a bad day. It was a gorgeous well, gorgeous weather Saturday, Sunday. I know there's a little rain and such on Friday, but other than that, can't ask for a better weekend when you got some good weather and you're hanging out at the ballpark and watching some kiddos play some baseball. So that was the best of the weekend for me. The worst of the weekend, I'm gonna go, that game 2 of that series, the collapse, the late inning collapse. Braves putting up a couple runs in the ninth there, and Brewers had the chance. And I don't know if that, it's a what if. It's a butterfly effect. We don't know if the Brewers would have won Game 3. If they would have won Game 2, doesn't necessarily mean they would have won Game 3 and won the series. But yeah, I'm gonna put Game 2 into my worst category. I know some people have already said worst is the Brewers losing this weekend series, but if I had to narrow it down just a little bit more, I'm gonna put Game 2 of that series on there. So, all right, what's your best and worst from the weekend? Hit me up. Send it on over. Text it 715-830-1912. Or, again, chime in the comments in the section 105 chat room on our YouTube video stream. Let's get right to it. First let's take a quick break because we got 15 things to knock off in our top 250 countdown. And it is definitely a mixture of moments, games, players, plays. It's a smorgasbord of topics, if you will, which makes it a little bit more fun too. So there is no rhyme or rhythm. It's not just one sport either. It's all over the place. So, and it might take us a little bit to get through. So that's why I want to take our first break of the third quarter so we can jump right into it, hydrate, and get through this one. All right, let's take that break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Believe it or not, hunting season preparation starts right now, and there is no better place to gear up than Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls. Whether you are looking to upgrade your deer rifle, or maybe pick up a new turkey shotgun, or a shotgun for trap, sporting clays, or target shooting, Tilden Gun has a wide selection of firearms for the brands that you know and trust. Their knowledgeable staff can help you find the perfect fit for your hunting style, your experience level, and your budget. Plus, you will find ammunition, accessories, optics, and more to help you get the most out of every trip to the range or into the field. Don't wait until the season is right around the corner, people. Get prepared now and shoot with confidence later. Stop by Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls and see why sportsmen and shooting enthusiasts throughout the Chippewa Valley trust Tilden Gun for all of their firearm needs. All right, let's jump into it. I'm excited for this group of 15 because, again, it's a little bit of a mixture. So let's continue our 250 countdown. The moments in America sports where you can't define sports in America without these 250 moments. We got another group of 15. And again, like I said, I'm excited for this one because it's a wide mixture. It's moments, it's teams, it's plays, it's athletes, all the above. So let's start off with, and there's no, it's not just one sport. It's not going to be, it's just all baseball. No. We're all over the place here. We're all over the place on this one, which kind of makes it exciting too. But, okay, let's start off in the world of golf. We just got done with the U.S. Open, Wyndham Clark, right? So another major in the books for the PGA. The third major of the season is in the books. And I am actually going to go to the Masters. Back to 1997. Why does that one matter? A 21-year-old by the name of Tiger Woods made his first career major start as a pro. He also began his opening 9 holes 4 over par, shot a 40, 4 over par. But the man went on to win the tournament by a record 12 strokes. The beginning of the greatness of golf of Tiger Woods. Now, we have mentioned Tiger Woods already on our list just as the athlete, but this moment, this not just because of like the comeback and it was his first major title, but there was another significance to Tiger winning the Masters. He became the first black man to win a major. And remember, Augusta National, they did not admit its first black member until 1990. And this was 1997 when Tiger went in there and dominated the field. This was one of the most iconic. I have this cover. I don't know why. So when I was a kid, my grandma had a Sports Illustrated subscription for me. So the magazines would go to her house, and whenever I'd go to her house, depending on if it was every weekend, okay, there'd be one there, or if it was a couple weeks, I might have a couple there. But as I got older, I kept a lot of those Sports Illustrated. Don't know why, but I put them in my Ninja Turtle trunk, wooden trunk. Still have that. Really good shape, by the way. And I just kept some. And one of them was that. Was that Tiger Woods? I don't know why, but I kept it as a kid. I actually kept a couple of Tiger Woods, and they're now framed in my man cave. The one is actually his first appearance on Sports Illustrated's cover, but this one, because I can still remember it, and it's framed, but it came with like a paper cover over it for a subscription for, was it Golf Digest or maybe another golf thing? And then you took the paper cover off, and then it's Tiger winning the 97 Masters. I have that framed up in my man cave. One of the most iconic, iconic covers, but performances. And then that was kind of like the beginning of, hey, we got Tiger-proof courses. Tiger Woods is a legit man. So not just because it was his first start as a pro at a major, not just because, he started off 4 over through the first 9, what it meant from a culture standpoint, becoming the first black man to win a major at Augusta National after they just, 7 years prior admitted their first black member too. And to kind of add on to that for our second moment, it's Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball in 1947. This is one of the top, if we were to rank this, and I'm not ranking them, but if we were to rank this would have been one of the first ones. When you talk about moments in sports, in America's 250th hit in America's 250 years, this is towards the top. With Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. Every year in baseball, Jackie Robinson Day. 42's retired. We know the story. We know the history, right? We know all this. But this is one of the most significant moments, pivotal moments, crucial moments in the game of baseball, but in sports history worldwide. I would argue worldwide, not just America. It happened in America, so that's why it's on his list, but worldwide. A lot of us know the battles, the uphill battles, the prejudice, the racism that Jackie had to endure in his career, and the courage and braveness. I know it's not a word, but his for him to go out there and to play in the face of all that hate too is, man, I can't even imagine what he and his family went through. We hear about it, we read about it, we listen, we watch, watch the movie 42. But to actually go through it, I can't even imagine. You cannot tell the history without Jackie Robinson. And one more to add kind of to that same idea, Jesse Owens winning 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympics in front of Adolf Hitler. Again, facing racism at home and abroad. Adolf Hitler, we know that history too. But Jesse Owens going there in the Olympics. Somebody who could say, I don't want to deal with that. And goes and wins 4 gold medals. When you talk about track and field history, Jesse Owens, I think if you ask a lot of people, hey, name me a track and field star or name me a track and field person, there's going to be a lot of names. There's going to be Carl Lewis. There's going to be Michael Johnson. You're going to throw Kenny Bednarik in here because of a local representation. You're going to throw Michael Phelps swimming, my bad. But you're going to throw a lot of names in there. Jesse Owens is going to be in there too, even though it was nearly 100 years ago. I'm talking 90 years ago. People still know Jesse Owens and the impact that he made in the Olympics, but in the world. Let's go next up. Where do I want to go for my next one? Tell you what, let's do. Yeah, I had this one on it was one of the first things I had on my list, and this is one that I got to watch live. It is one of the most iconic images in all of sports. It is, for some, one of the most controversial plays in all of sports, depending on if you were a fan of his or not. Michael Jordan's final shot is a Chicago Bull. The 90, that season, that series, Jordan, Russell's on him. We knew it was going to be, that was the talk at that point. They had a good idea it was the last dance. And for those of you who was like, what was controversial about it? Did he push Russell? You got the replay, the crossover, the hand kind of is on Russell's back. It looks like he, gets pushed down or slips. Jordan pull up. It's one of the most iconic images in all of sports from the behind angle, making that jumper. Wins the 6th title of his career. If you were to put, this would be a really cool one if we had like a digital series, or if somebody did, and it could easily be done. We could probably go through a list, but I'd want the visuals to this. If you could put a list of the 250th or 250 most iconic sports images of all time, this would be on there. Muhammad Ali would be on there. Tiger Woods would be on there. Lou Gehrig. I mean, there's so many images of sports that are just like, that one would be really hard. But this, from a play standpoint, historical, I mean, you got to go with Jordan's final shot. And I remember watching as a kid, and I was cheering hard for the Jazz because I was probably the weirdo kid that was not a Jordan fan, was not a Bulls fan, not because the Bulls were in the same division as the Bucks, but he just kept winning. It was a jealousy part. Like a lot of things for us. And we still go through that as adults. You don't like Tom Brady because he wins. You don't like Patrick Mahomes because they win. Maybe other reasons too. But that's what it boils down to, doesn't it? Now I appreciate the heck out of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Let's do the next one here. Yeah, I'm going to go a couple. Speaking of maybe players you didn't like or teams you didn't like, I'm just going to knock these two out because you can't tell the history of the NFL without it. But I'm going to go Patriots making that 28-3 comeback in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. I mean, anybody who was watching that game, Atlanta had it. You're 25-point lead late in the game. And then they got going. Patriots got going. And then you just knew it was going to happen, right? I think everybody watching that game, that Super Bowl 51, just like, oh, man, they're going to do it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The momentum. You could just tell. Was it a sack on Matt Ryan when they should have probably ran? It's like, oh, no, they're going to do this. The Patriots of all teams, Brady and Belichick, they're going to do it. Yep. Sure enough, they did. So I threw that one in there, but I also threw in, because this was just a good game, and it's an iconic play in Super Bowl history. Patriots Seahawks, Malcolm Butler, the interception. You don't have to like either one of those teams. I don't like either one of those teams. But that was a hell of a Super Bowl, and that was a hell of a game. So you can't deny that. You can't deny that play. As boneheaded of a play call as it was for the Seahawks, it was still a fantastic play by Malcolm Butler. I don't think anybody in the world thought that was going to happen. I didn't. Speaking of the Seahawks, I'm sorry, Packers fans, but I got to throw this one in here because it's a part of history and it's going to be talked about, and it will be continued to be talked about for a while, and maybe it's brought up lightly here, some bad memories because of the NFL and officials and negotiations and such, but we got to throw the Hail Mary in there. You want to talk about one of the most iconic images in all sports? There you go. MD Jennings, Golden Tate. One official signals touchdown. One official, nope. And the mess that came after that. That was the tipping point of the ugly strike of NFL officials and the NFL deciding to, we can get by with replacement officials. Nope. A few days later, they came to an agreement and the real ones were back. So, you got it. As painful as it is for us as Packers fans, we got to throw that one in there too. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. That way we don't run behind on breaks here. And we'll continue our countdown here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go. Got 8 more to go for today. We'll take a quick break. Be right back after these quick words. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, you need to make your way on over to the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. Enjoy beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, cold beverages, and some of the best live music you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you are meeting friends after work or spending a summer evening outdoors, the VFW Post 305 is the place to be. Great views, great music, great times. That's the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. We're just there Friday, too. Friday night. So let's continue our countdown. I sounded like Casey Kasem there, I think. We're going to go to the, NFL. Stay with the NFL. And you can't, because right now, and maybe it changes, like in 50 years if we did another one of these, where it was a top 300, maybe a team kind of takes this one out. But you look at the NFL's history, there's the 72 Dolphins. It gets brought up every year. After the last undefeated team loses, what gets referenced? It's the 72 Dolphins. The 72 Dolphins can crack the champagne. Patriots got close, right, in 07, 08. Close to being 19-0. But it's the 72 Dolphins that stand alone. Undefeated team. Only undefeated team in NFL history. So when you talk about NFL history and you talk about the only undefeated team, you got to throw them in here as part of our 250 countdown. It just, you have to. You have to. I'm going to save this one for the last one. Let's go then. Switch into an athlete. Horse racing. I know there's probably not going to be a lot of mention on here, but Secretariat, the domination that horse had. The Belmont Stakes in 1973, winning by 31 lengths. Widely considered the greatest race ever run by a thoroughbred racehorse. Triple Crown winner. Record, I mean, that Belmont Stakes, that record-breaking Belmont Stakes race. I think when you ask a lot of people, and I'm not the biggest horse racing expert fan, but it's one of those where you know the name. Right? We talk about this for a lot of athletes and maybe some non-traditional sports outside of baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer. Or even like soccer to a point from a worldwide standpoint. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I know who Messi is. I know Ronaldo. But, I don't know a lot about horse racing. But you know who Secretariat is. And you know that was a dominant horse. Dominating horse. So when you talk about the history of horse racing in America from the last 250 years, you got to talk about Secretariat. And you got to talk about that 1973 Belmont Stakes race, winning by 31 lengths. And when you talk about it, and if it is, in fact, considered the greatest race ever run by a thoroughbred racehorse, you got to throw that in there. My next one, then, I am going to go to the tennis world, because I think this was a big moment in tennis's history, but in the history of sports in America and from a culture standpoint. The battle of the sexes, Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. It was actually the second one, because the first one happened on May 13th, 1973. Bobby Riggs defeated Margaret Court in 2 sets. Billie Jean King, though, defeated Bobby Riggs in 3 straight sets on September 20th, 1973 at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The match was viewed by an estimated 50 million people in the United States and 90 million worldwide, and it is considered, with King's victory, as a milestone in public acceptance of women's tennis. I remember watching as a kid, I think it was a made-for-TV movie about this. And it's one of those two that I think a lot of fans know about this. Again, they may not be the biggest tennis fans, which is a theme for a lot of these. But that's why, in my opinion, they're some of the biggest sports moments in American history. Even if you're not a big fan of that particular sport, but you know about that certain athlete or you know about that game or that play or that moment, that's a pivotal moment in history, and that's a pivotal moment in that sports history, and that's the case for this. Billie Jean King defeating Bobby Riggs. I knew about it as a kid. Wasn't a big tennis fan. But it's definitely a critical and crucial moment in the sports world. I'm going to go kind of, again, sticking with the Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, I guess, ordeal. We all kind of know the history of this, right? I mean, it's the early 90s and the Olympics, the rivalry between the two, where Nancy Kerrigan was attacked after practice, biggest sports scandals, Tanya Harding. It was just, yeah. We know the whole history about it. We know the story behind it. It was one day before the U.S. Figure Skating Championship. Nancy Kerrigan was attacked in a corridor after a practice session. The aftermath of the attack recorded on a news camera. I can still picture the video. You can go on YouTube. But the assailants, Shane Stantz, was contracted to break her right knee. He turned himself to the FBI. Stant and his uncle were hired for this assault by Tanya Harding's ex-husband and her bodyguard. After failing to find Kerrigan in Massachusetts, they had taken a 20-hour bus trip to Detroit. Nancy Kerrigan was walking behind a curtain when Stant rushed behind her. Using both hands, he swung a 21-inch telescopic baton at her right leg, striking above the knee. The attack was intended to seriously injure Kerrigan so that she could not compete in the Nationals nor the Winter Olympics. Kerrigan's leg was not broken, but was severely bruised, forcing her to withdraw from the championships and forego competition or forego competing to retain the U.S. ladies title. Tanya Harding won the U.S. title. She and Kerrigan were then both selected for the '84 Olympic team. Yeah. And then on January 18th, 1994, Harding was with her lawyers when she submitted to questioning by the FBI. She was interviewed for over 10 hours. 8 hours into the interview, her lawyer read a statement declaring her separation from her ex-husband. Blah, 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 blah. We all know that. Yeah. We know the scandal. We know the story. We know all that. Harding at one said that she was sorry Kerrigan was attacked, that she respected Kerrigan and claimed not to have known in advance of the plot to disable her. Harding took responsibility for failing to report things about the assault when I returned home from Nationals. Failure to immediately report this information is not a crime, according to her statement. So, yeah. Got to throw that one in there. What else? We mentioned him as part of our athlete, but it is, again, one of those moments, I think, in sports where you know or you remember where you were when you hurt. And it's the crash and the passing of Dale Earnhardt. I wasn't the biggest racing fan. I wasn't, I knew who Dale Earnhardt was. I knew who Jeff Gordon was. I knew who Rusty Wallace was. I knew who Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, etc. I knew a lot of those racers. But I still remember that Sunday coming home and turning on the TV, and it was all over. And just the feeling of like, what? How does this happen? How does this happen? And I knew I had friends who were big NASCAR fans and big Dale Earnhardt fans. And I just remember the day after, too, seeing them in school. I was in high school. And it was just one of those moments that I think you kind of remember where you're at when you first found out. And I remember walking into my home, just turning on a TV, turning on ESPN, and obviously that was the main story. So I think, from and it changed, NASCAR and that, but you're talking about arguably one of the best, if not the best driver in their history, passing away in an accident on the biggest stage at the Daytona 500. Really quick, I want to go back to the Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan one. I forgot to mention this too. So just to clear it up, 94, Harding accepted a plea agreement admitting she helped cover up a crime after it occurred. And then in 2018, in an interview to ABC, she confessed for the first time that she had an inkling of the plan before the 94 Olympics. She admitted to overhearing her ex-husband and others speculating about taking somebody out so that she can make the Olympic team, though she never explicitly confessed to directly taking part in planning the assault. So I wanted to throw that in there to clarify it. All right, we got three more here. I think from just a player standpoint, I'm going to make this one quick because they're still playing. Shohei Ohtani. For so much. You're talking about, for a lot of us, who's the guy that he gets compared to? Babe Ruth, because he hits dingers and he's a pitcher. You're not supposed to do this in baseball. You're supposed to be one or the other. You can't be a DH, a really good offensive player, and then every 5 days be a really good starting pitcher. Because now in baseball, or at least it still is, you either got to be a pitcher and focus just on that, or you got to focus on being a position player and a really good offensive player. You can't have both. Ohtani said, hold my beer, hold my bat, watch me, and I will succeed. And I think there was talk at the beginning of the whole thing when his career started, like, that ain't going to work. Eventually he's going to be, probably a DH or a hitter. Or he's got to focus on one thing. Eventually he's got to focus on one thing. Even with the Tommy John surgery and that, dude's amazing. And maybe we are witnessing one of the best baseball players of all time right in front of our eyes. Don Larsen's perfect game in the World Series. Perfect games, I think, are still one of the most awesome things in the world of sports. But to throw a perfect game in the World Series, that has got to be one of the most awesome things to have on your resume. To throw a perfect game. Game 5 of the 56 World Series. It remained up until Roy Halladay threw a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds in the postseason in 2010. But his perfect game remained the only no-hitter of any type pitched in the postseason until Roy Halladay did that. It still gets mentioned to this day. So, Don Larsen's World Series perfect game. Finally, really quick, I'm putting the home run chase, whatever you want to call it, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa in the 90s. Because we know what transpired afterwards. But that got a lot of people excited for baseball again. Yours truly. It drew people in. It was a big thing, the home run chase. For some people, for a lot of people actually, they'd say it might have saved baseball. But then the ramifications, the news, the stories that come out afterwards, I'm lumping this all into one thing because I think you have to. That is the whole story. The home run chase of the 90s and then the aftermath of it all. the debates that still continue. Should this person be in the Hall of Fame? Should that person be in the Hall of Fame? I've always been a person saying when it comes to a player or a person's eligibility for the Hall of Fame, if you can't tell you got to be able to tell. If you can't tell the history of this person or this thing, then yeah, they should be a Hall of Famer. This is a little bit different, maybe, because you can't really tell the history of baseball without mentioning the mid-'90s home run chase with McGwire, Sosa, and even Griffey Jr. was like a part of this thing. But McGwire and Sosa, back and forth, and then the aftermath of those two, finding out what happened, the steroids. It was a huge moment in the history of baseball. It changed baseball in so many different ways, but it got people to tune in. It got me to tune in, and I know it got a lot of others to tune in too. You can't tell the history without mentioning that. All right, so that's the latest installment of our top 250 countdown. Got to take a really quick break because I'm running out of time here, so we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. only got a couple minutes left until, or not even a couple minutes left, but shot clock's going to cut me off here in about a minute. So we've got the final hour coming up here. We're going to get back to some more Brewers talk. Give me your latest feelings on the whole Giannis situation, your Giannis-o-meter. How you feeling on the latest rumors and updates? Predictions, do you think he's going to be traded before tomorrow's draft? What say you, peeps? Give me some predictions, all right? Text them on over, 715-830-1912, or you can hang out in the Section 105 chats. But I know Shams said that Giannis will be traded before the draft tomorrow night, and maybe that's going to get you to say, yeah, okay, that means he's not, because Shams said it was. I don't know, but what do you think? What's your gut saying? What is your gut saying? Do you think he is going to be traded before tomorrow? Let me know. All right, we got news updates. We'll kick off the final hour coming up after these quick words. All right, final hour on this Monday morning coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your starts on this brand new work week. We've got Brewers talk. Brandon Woodruff looks like he's going to be back in the rotation tonight for the Brew Crew. So we'll hit that up, talk a little Brewers. It is a Monday, which means it's best and worst from the weekend. What is your best and what is your worst from the weekend? All right, VFW Post 305, best and worst from the weekend. Send those on over. Hit me up, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Hey, today only, June 22nd, at our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, you can earn 20 cents off per gallon. 20 cents off per gallon with every $40 purchase at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. This is just for today only. So stock up on some items. Kiddos are at home, maybe going to some concerts or to some ball tournaments and such. Perfect way to double dip. You can earn some, or you can save some money by doing your shopping at Hy-Vee and then save some money at the gas pump with fuel savers from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Today only. Today only, peeps. Okay. We've got John chiming in here saying that my gut says not to trust a lot of what Shams has to say, but I think Giannis gets traded after the draft. I'm a little nervous right now because is it going to work now? But it's like Twitter's down. And sometimes that means, is there just something big going on? And is something happening with Giannis and that? So that's where it's like, okay, I keep refreshing. My phone is not working. On the computer, it's not working. I'm like refreshing. I'm like, just give me something. Something works. Something worked. Is something happening? So I'm a little nervous that I'm missing out. FOMO, fear of missing out right now. But whenever it does pop up, we'll bring it up. I know. I feel like it's going to be before. I don't know if the Jaylen Brown stuff's legit now with the Celtics being in the lead to acquire the services of Giannis and Jaylen Brown being a part of that. Just my gut. No inside info. Just my gut. It feels like, is this a tactic that is being floated out there to try to get maybe like the Heat to up their offer? Because you got two teams, actually three if you count the Bucks in this thing, but these are all Eastern Conference teams. Kind of competing against each other for the services of one Greek freak. So we haven't really gone down this path before. But do you feel like Giannis maybe kind of handcuffed the Bucks the last few years in terms of his brother's playing, Thanasis, family involved? Or do you feel that was the Bucks just maybe overdoing it themselves and not really setting that line, that boundary? Did they just open up that door too much and you couldn't shut it? The NBA is such a weird thing because you see so many teams that try to pacify all of their superstar players to make them happy so they will stay. So many teams in the NBA do this when they've got that guy. Because I feel like, too, in the NBA, maybe more so than any other sport, those players can force their way out a little bit easier than what other players can do in other leagues. It's not to say it's not possible, because we've seen it. It's been possible in the NFL. But I feel like from a player empowerment standpoint, the NBA has, or the players in the NBA have a little bit more control, even if they're under contract. Because I think we've seen this. I mean, there's more that are guilty of this than any James Harden, right? Kevin Durant. We've seen these players, even under contract, being forced out or forcing their way out. And do you think it just got to the point with Giannis? Because I'm just talking to some people over the weekend, and kind of got the sense like, hey, now we don't have to deal with Giannis and his brothers, being there, and but it's like, did Giannis push it too much, or was it the Bucks that just opened that door and did, just give him everything to try to make him happy, and you just couldn't shut that door? And do you fault the Bucks for doing that, to try to do everything humanly possible to make him healthy or happy? It's tough because, again, I think that's the current state of this league, especially when it comes to smaller market teams. I think if you're a smaller market team, you almost have to do more to make your players happy so that they want to stay. And you hear about this, or at least I've heard about it from other teams. You go to certain resources where maybe they do a really good job. This team does a really good job taking care of families, and they do all this fancy stuff, this nice stuff, daycares for kids and families. And it's like, well, why do they do that? Well, look at the team. Maybe it's a destination where not a lot of players want to go to. But they do that for families. They could do that for my kids. They do this for them, then, et cetera. It's like, okay, that's an attraction. It's all a recruiting thing. I don't know. I have no idea where this thing's going to land. There is a big part of me, and this is straight up from a fan standpoint. I should say it's a big part then. It's just there's a little part of me that says, okay, maybe the Bucks are just asking this huge price tag, this unrealistic ask for Giannis. Because how do you put a price tag on Giannis? How do you put together a trade package for Giannis? What is it going to take? It's hard to put a value on that. Teams try, but are the Bucks just asking so much? And they should. They should ask for the moon. But are they asking so much right now, knowing that no team is going to ask that, or no team is going to agree to that? So twofold. One, they can keep Giannis. Or two, if some team is going to give them the universe where the Bucks would be an idiot to say no to, well, then it's a win-win situation for them. But is it a win-win situation when you got all of this getting talked about? We can go back and forth on this. We've gone back and forth on this for how many years, how many months now? And I think, again, we're all at the point we just want a resolution. If he's staying, let's move on. If he's going, let's move on. On to the next. And I think we're at a point that it's a game of chicken. The Bucks are out there wanting the world, the universe. They want everything. And they're just waiting to see if a team is going to go out there and give them exactly what they want. Is there going to be a team that panics, whether it's the Heat or the Celtics? Is there a team that's going to panic and say, okay, you win, we'll give you all this? Or do the Bucks just protect themselves and say, hey, this was what we wanted, we didn't get it, so we're going to keep the player? I don't know how this thing plays out, to be honest with you. All right. Keep your thoughts coming. We've got Tim says, I don't think Giannis gets traded before the draft. I think the Bucks want a lot for him, and we'll wait it out. And please don't trade him to the Celtics. I love Giannis, and I hate the Celtics. I want to root for Giannis wherever he goes, but can't if he is a Celtic. Is this different for you than, say, Rodgers? Everybody is? Or, I mean, Favre's weird because of the Vikings thing, and there was a rivalry, and I don't really think the Bucs have a rival, but maybe it is the Celtics or something like that. But I know I threw out the question earlier, like last week or the week before. Is there a team that you don't want him to go to because you don't want to root for it? But how do you compare this to some of the other superstar trades in the state of Wisconsin, whether it was a Favre or a Rodgers, or if it was a Brewers-related one? Or does this not even compare? Is it different? What's the best comparison from a Wisconsin sports standpoint that we're going through right now with this whole Giannis thing that you would compare it to? Let's take a quick break. We got baseball tonight, too. Brewers taking on the Reds. Brandon Woodruff. Sounds like he's going to be back on the mound. So we'll do a little baseball talk coming up after these quick words. The title belts are in, people. They are sitting right here on the table in the studio. Title belts are in for the 6th annual Kasper Classic. Get your two-person team. Title belts for two of them for your team. So you don't have to fight who gets to keep it. All right? You each get one. So sign up your two-person team today by heading to sportstalk1051.com for just $90. Not $90 per person, $90 for your entire team. To get to play 9 holes, you get your carts, you get a meal, you get some drink tickets as well. So get on over, sportstalk1051.com. The 1 p.m. one is now starting to fill up here too. So you got 1 p.m. tee time slots and 7:30 a.m. tee time slots. We call that the Surveyor Flight if you want to go out there with Surveyor Sam. So big thanks to our partners this year so far, Muldoon's, Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, Kelsey Nikolai, Edward Jones Financial, Dodge, Cambridge, Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Superior Auto Body, Window World, Home Oasis, Residence Branding, and Claflin Construction. So if you are interested in partnering up, maybe being a whole sponsor, or donating a raffle prize too, because 100% of the proceeds from raffle prizes go to help fund Backyard Dreams, please reach out. Would love to hear from you. So Brewers, after a weekend where they dropped the series against the Braves, are going to be right back at it tonight. And it sounds like Brandon Woodruff is going to get the start. So what should the expectation be for Brandon Woodruff when he comes back? What should that be? Whoa, never mind. Back up. Beep, 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 beep. We got breaking news. This is maybe what's setting Twitter on fire right now. I wonder if this is what's setting Twitter on fire. Michigan head coach Dusty May is finalizing a deal to be the new head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. All right. Big Ten, wow. That has Big Ten ramifications. Dusty May, Michigan, just coming off the national title. Whoa, Nelly. Wow, that's huge. That is huge. I will see it. I mean, yeah, you got Cooper Flagg there. But, I mean, you're just coming off of... I would love to know. Money talks. Money talks. We know that's probably the key in a lot of this stuff. But is this another example of the current state of college sports, where you have a college coach that maybe doesn't want to have to deal with NIL, transfer portal, that sort of, I don't know. I just finding out about this on the fly. But man, that is quite the shakeup in the Big Ten for basketball. Holy moly. Didn't see that one happening. Man. So again, Michigan head coach Dusty May. Michigan men's basketball head coach Dusty May taking the Dallas Mavericks head coaching job. All right, so that had to have been what was messing up with my Twitter homepage, where I couldn't get anything to load on. That had to be it. All right. Not the basketball NBA news that I think we were maybe expecting to see or hear today, but nonetheless, that is a huge one. So, Brewers back at it tonight. You can listen to the game on your radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coverage will begin at 6:10. Or, excuse me, game first pitch is at 6:10. Coverage begins 35 minutes prior. Brandon Woodruff. What's the expectation for him? I think, ideally, if he can, if he gets back to pitching like we saw earlier in the season, before that final game, where obviously the The miles per hour was really down, which flagged that there was something amiss, something going on with Brandon Woodruff. But if he pitches to what we saw at the beginning of this season, is that good enough to kind of be the third starter in this rotation? A rotation that features Mizorowski and Harrison. There's no question those are the top two. Mizorowski is a bona fide Cy Young candidate. Harrison, he is pitching at an all-star level. Just to refresh it, what Brandon Woodruff was doing at the beginning part of the season. So 6 games, and we know that last one was a short start. 30 innings. His ERA during that time was a 3.60. But let's break down the game by game, because just 6 games and that final one just being a couple innings, it doesn't really tell the whole story, right? So let's kind of break down the games that he did pitch in so far this year. 2-1, 3.60 ERA. And we haven't seen him nearly 2 months. So his first game, March 31st against Tampa Bay. He threw 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, did give up 2 solo shots. 6 strikeouts, no walks. Boston, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. No decision. Washington, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Miami picked up another win, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Pittsburgh, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and then that game against Arizona where he went 1 1/3, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. His pitch counts in order: 67, 94, 70, 92, 71, 21. I think one thing that's going to be interesting to kind of watch with Brandon Woodruff is, are they going to have a pitch count on him? Probably at the beginning, but for the rest of the season is where I'm looking at. Because all offseason in spring training, we kept hearing from Brandon Woodruff and the Brewers, we're planning, the game plan is, to have him available in September and October. It's not being available for opening day. It's being available for September and October. That was the game plan. Well, now that he's been gone for 2 months and he's going to be coming back, would it surprise you if they just put a pitch count on him and okay, this is what you're going to do. We're going to put you at 75. I'm just kind of looking, or maybe it's 70. 67, 94, 70, 92, 71, 21. Maybe it's like 7. We're going to cap you at around 70 pitches because we want to preserve you. We want to try to, that's the game plan. Try to limit a lot of work on that arm so that, hopefully you'd be ready to go for September and October. Now, that's not a guarantee. Just putting a pitch count on him isn't a guarantee that he's going to be ready to, go out there and be ready for September and October. It's so unpredictable when it comes to injuries. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did put that pitch count out there to try to help preserve him for the rest of the season. I think there's a lot at stake here for Brandon Woodruff and the Brewers in the next month or so, too. Because if Brandon Woodruff goes out there and he pitches at a high level, that answers, I think, a lot of questions for the Brewers in terms of, do we need to make another move for another starting pitcher? Now, the flip side to that is also, well, okay, can you trust him to stay healthy by the time it's September and October? Because if you make that decision by the trade deadline saying, okay, Woodruff is pitching well, he's pitching at a high level, we're good. you got another month and a half of the season, and a lot of things could happen. So maybe you're like, no, we're still going to go after a starter just to prepare ourselves. But Woodruff can make that a more difficult decision for the Brewers if he goes out there and pitches well. And say, hey, we don't need to acquire another starting pitcher. I'm good. We're good. We got our top three. The fourth is between Logan Henderson whenever he gets back. Robert Gasser has pitched back-to-back games at a high level. Or it could just be kind of piggyback starts because they got guys in the bullpen that can give you innings. Brandon Sproat, Shane Drowan, Chad Patrick, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really going to be interesting to see how Brandon Woodruff pitches in his next few games, and does that factor into whether the Brewers decide to add more pitching before the deadline or not? I think it does factor into the Brewers' plans. It may not. If you ask a fan or if you ask Brewers fans, they'll probably say it shouldn't, but I do think it does factor into Matt Arnold and the Brewers' thinking. And I think to help with that decision, they're going to be very cautious with how much they're going to use Brandon Woodruff. It might only be 70 pitches. It might only be 5 innings. They may continue with the 6-day rest. Don't be surprised. All right, let's take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Our next tailgate Thursday with the Eau Claire Express is coming up July 16th, a little less than a month away, but we are going to coin it the pregame to 40 because that is actually the day before my 40th birthday. So Thursday, July 16th, we're going to be in the parking lot at Carson Park and doing some tailgate fun festivities before the Express are in action that night. So make sure you get your game tickets for the Express game that night because let's pack up the house, all right? Not only are we going to do, tailgate beforehand, but let's make sure that Carson Park is packed up for that night of baseball. So put it on your calendars. Get your tickets now for our Thursday tailgate, our next Thursday tailgate coming up July 16th, and we're going to term it the pregame to 40, baby. Speaking of the Express, good weekend for the Express, too. Getting 2 wins against Wilmer. They're on the road against Duluth. They'll be back home tomorrow against Duluth. Waterloo on the road for a couple games, and then Lacrosse home Friday, Lacrosse Road Saturday, Lacrosse home Sunday, Lacrosse Road next Monday, a week from today. But the Express right now, third in their division. Playing some good baseball, though, as of late. So, yeah, good work. Couple messages here. Mike says, if the Bucks had to fill a couple of roster spots to keep Giannis in town, so be it. But if Giannis took advantage of this and was late for team flights, then shame on him and shame on the Bucks. I bet if the flights left on time a couple of times and Giannis had to find his own way to the city where they were playing basketball, that wouldn't happen anymore. I'm assuming you're referring to, was that the Miles Turner thing? That's where, yeah, I mean, if Giannis was taking advantage of it, I know Giannis downplayed it, but if he was taking advantage of it, shame on him because, I mean, you are a leader even if you're not playing. You can't be calling out this stuff while you're injured, saying, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that, and then you're doing that stuff. But also shame on Doc Rivers. I just felt like Doc Rivers was mailing it in. And this is going back, this is the same Doc Rivers that when he was the head coach of the Orlando Magic. And they couldn't get Tim Duncan. I remember this because I was a huge Magic fan, and I was counting on this to happen. They got McGrady, they got Grant Hill, and they thought they were going to get Tim Duncan in free agency. But the story was Duncan's wife, fiance, girlfriend asked if family can ride on the team plane, and Doc said nope. So you're going to be a hard, a stickler that, and then you can be late for flights, you could be late for this, you could do that. Just felt like Doc was just mailing it in. Other text, Dan, you hit the nail on the head with Woodruff. His rehab should be June, July, August, getting things figured out and dialed in while skipping starts because the Brewers have the arms. A bullpen day may means he starts and see how far he can go, but don't push it and make sure he's ready for postseason. He deserves that. It will definitely be curious. I am really interested and curious to see what the game plan is for Woodruff. Is it the typical 5-day rest? 6. Pitch count. I think you got to put him on a pitch count. I know that he probably will early, but maybe you put him on a pitch count up until September. Speaking of the Brewers, there's a really good piece, and I'm glad he's getting the attention that he should be. But Bob Nightingale from USA Today, it was from yesterday morning, but if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's about Jake Bauers. And we know Jake Bauers is having a really good season. Probably isn't going to make the All-Star team because when you talk about first baseman, especially in the National League, there's some serious name power to it. But it doesn't diminish the type of season that Jake Bauers is having. 270, 869 OPS, 13 home runs. But it's a really good piece by Bob talking about kind of the struggles of Jake Bauers early on in his career. And, for maybe like youth coaches and Little League coaches, this could be an example. But I'll just read a little bit here. It says, Brewers, Jake Bauers would wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, grab a baseball bat, walk over to the mirror, and start swinging over and over again, hours at a time, until exhaustion set in. He would wake up, pore over videotape of his swing, trying to detect any possible little thing that could end all of his struggles. It was relentless, night after night, day after day, the anguish and anxiety slowly eroding his soul, wondering how long he could do this. It was a 24/7 thing, Bowers tells USA Today. I couldn't turn it off. I was killing myself. Here he was, 29 years old, with a wife and 2 young children, playing in his seventh different organization, wondering if his career was over before it ever really started. It wasn't necessarily killing me like in life, but it sucked as a baseball player. You call yourself a baseball player, you're getting paid to play baseball, and you don't feel like you're very good at it. It was near the end of the season last year. The Brewers were in Pittsburgh for a 3-game series the first weekend of September, and Bowers knew his career was on life support. He was hitting 188 with a 315 on base and a 333 slugging. Bowers, in the starting lineup, batting 7th as the Brewers DH on September 5th, popped up to the shortstop on a 78-mile-an-hour curveball. Then he struck out on an 86-mile-per-hour slider in his next at-bat. That's when he completely lost it. I remember going down in the tunnel by myself and screaming, "What is this? Are we going to keep doing this? Can I even play? Do I have what it takes? Is this it?" I remember looking up at the scoreboard and it says 180. Then just saying, blanket. Not blank, but you know what I mean. I'm just going to go up there, not think about anything, and just swing. Whatever happens, happens. I really don't care anymore. He stepped up to the plate in the 6th inning, 2 outs, runners on second and third, slapped a 2-run single to the right field. He came up again in the 8th, smoked a single to center field with an exit velocity of nearly 105 miles per hour. His confidence, which had completely vanished, came running back into his body. The next day, he went 2 for 3, including his first homer in 3 months. Day after that, 2 for 4 with a double. Bowers stepped aside mentally, cleared his mind, and let his natural talents take over. That's when I realized I just needed to get out of the way. How many times, as a parent, as a youth coach, have we said, stop thinking and just play? Or just when we're talking about sports in general and we're watching our favorite players and our favorite teams, how many times have we just said, stop thinking and just play? And it kind of seems that's where Bowers was last year. Stop thinking, just play. You're overthinking. It's hard. It's hard to just kind of have that mindset. It's hard to tell a kid, hey, you're overthinking. It's not something you can just shut off. It's not a flip of the switch. Again, I think so many people underestimate the importance of the mental side of sports, the mental mental game of sports. To me, that is one of the most eye-opening kind of great things for pro athletes, that when we watch them or I watch them, that they're able to overcome a lot of that stuff. I've always said, and I will continue to always say it, I suck when it comes to the mental game of sports. I really sucked at it with golf. One bad shot ruined me. And then it was just a dumpster fire. I overanalyze everything. I would record everything. I would read, just do error. I could not get out of my own head. And I stunk at it. And to see pro athletes, I think sometimes we kind of take it for granted, the ability that they have, and not all of them do. A big portion of them do, and I think that is a huge difference between pro athletes and non-pro athletes, or to the players that are able to reach the ultimate mark, is the mental game of it all. Because I can tell you right now, I could not go in a stadium of 80,000 fans and they're booing me. I couldn't take that. I'd probably be peeing my pants, nervous, butterflies, puking. I couldn't do it. The absolute hate that you get from your own fan base if you have a bad game, or the hate that you get from your rival fan. It's easy to say, shut it off. It's easy for us to say, shut it off. Shut it off. Ignore it. We're all human. Put yourself in that shoes. It's going to be hard not to. But it's a great piece. I don't want to read the whole piece. Go check it out. USA Today on Jake Bauers. All right, we got to take a quick break, and we'll make some picks coming up after these quick words. All right, let's wrap up this Monday show with some picks. We've got baseball games to get to here. We've got Yankees taking on the Tigers of Detroit. I'm going to go with the Yankees. Kansas City taking on Tampa Bay. I'll go Tampa Bay. Rangers taking on Miami. I'm going to go Miami. Philadelphia, Washington. I'll go Philadelphia. Houston, Toronto. Give me Toronto. Cubs, Mets. I'll go with Cubs. Cleveland taking on the White Sox. I'm going to go with the White Sox. Dodgers and the Twins. Any Twins fans going over there? I'm going to go with I'll go with the Dodgers. Arizona taking on St. Louis. Ooh. I'm going to go Arizona for tonight. Boston, Colorado. I'll go Boston. Baltimore and the Angels. Give me Baltimore. Atlanta taking on the Padres. I'll go with the Braves. The Brewers. Brandon Woodruff, Brady Singer. I'm going to go with the Brew Crew to pick up Game 1 victory tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. So let's do it to it, Brewers. Let's get a W for Brandon Woodruff's return. So, all right. So, coming up tomorrow, since we only got 5 minutes left here, it is a Toys to Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So, this is your homework assignment. Give me what is grinding your gears. Okay? What's been grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Send it on over to us. Okay? You can start to send it on over right now if you want, so you don't forget. But what is grinding your gears? Also, tomorrow is I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Should be some good ones out there. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank. I'm not saying Dusty May is going to be a failure as an NBA coach, but I'm just saying he won't have as much success as he did in the college ranks. I just pulled that one out of my hat. Okay, that's the example we're kind of throwing at here. So think about that for tomorrow, and you can shoot those on over too. Will we know tomorrow whether Giannis is traded or not? Will we know? Polymarket is if you're into this sort of thing. Boston has a 58% chance of being traded, or Giannis has a 58% chance of being traded to the Celtics, 36 for Miami. Okay, so there's some talk like the Bucks are officially deciding today where Giannis will. I don't know if that's like legit, but yeah. The thing is, if he goes to Boston, I don't know how the Tatum and Giannis thing's going to work out. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know. And if they want to keep Brown, geez. Let's see it all play out before we kind of get down that road. So, this is another thing that the Bucks. Where's this at? Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks per Mark Stein. Yeah, we mentioned this one. Bucks are reportedly considering a 2-team deal for Giannis that involves Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics. And it sounds like the Bucks would like to keep Brown. Would Brown be up for that, though? I don't think he would be. And I think he could force his way out. But anyways, we'll maybe talk about that coming up tomorrow if we have any news, which we probably will because it usually happens after 10 o'clock when we're done. So make sure you're following online in case there is some big Giannis updates, Bucks updates. So tomorrow morning, again, Grind My Gears Tuesday. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, hopefully we're talking about a Brewers win. And for Brandon Woodruff, hopefully a win for Brandon Woodruff. I think we just want to see a solid performance for him, staying healthy, get through it with no setbacks, right? Let's just win's the most important thing, but hopefully Woodruff comes through unscathed and he has a solid performance, and we rock and roll. Is Cooper Pratt going to stay hot from the plate? His first 6 games of his career. Dude's been hitting well. Numbers are going to come down with more ABs. It's going to even out, but right now, first impressions, Cooper Pratt, you got to give him some credit. I mean, 368 batting average, 7 hits, 3 stolen bases. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. Keep building confidence. Keep stacking success. He's probably not going to finish the season hitting over 300, but got to like his start so far. Looks confident, and I think that confidence is just going to continue to build for him. All right, have a good rest of your day. All right, same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. We'll chat with you all then.